96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The opposition calling for urgency in the police corruption probe. 850 jobs pledged for a new beaches project as Sandals Exuma. Emerald Bay to close. And Prime Minister Philip Davis returns after his successful surgery. That's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know? It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, August 1st, 2024. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also this morning, today kicks off World Breastfeeding Week. We'll talk about that and breastfeeding in the Bahamas and what you need to know. And later in business, we're getting a preview of the second annual All Things Bahamian event. That's all ahead. But first, it's time for the Overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, F&M leader Michael Pintard says the government's lack of urgency and transparency as it relates to an ongoing investigation into alleged corruption at the police force is eroding the public's trust. His comments coming a day after Oral Roberts, a suspect in the $1.5 million heist at Odyssey Airport, which is at the center of the corruption investigation, was murdered in Fox Hill. Roberts was the third suspect connected to the case to be murdered since the November 2023 heist. That incident, according to Pintard, again putting law enforcement and the criminal justice system in the spotlight for the wrong reasons. He says renewing public accusations of systemic corruption among those tasked with enforcing the law. He said, quote, witnesses and bystanders have made startling allegations that this latest murder may be connected to an incident at the center of an ongoing investigation into corruption within the police force and beyond. The government's lack of urgency and engagement in establishing a transparent process to investigate this matter is shaking public confidence in law enforcement, policymakers, and the entire criminal justice system. Pintard's also asking how many more will die in our streets before our elected government demonstrates a sense of urgency. As you may recall, audio recordings that triggered a police corruption probe went viral on July 5th. The Commissioner of Police announced on July 8th 3.5 weeks ago now that the Security and Intelligence Branch was leading the investigation into that matter. Roberts' murder was the second to take place on New Providence on Tuesday. Police did not immediately conclude what the motive was for the shooting. In other news, Bahamas Electrical Workers or Bahamas Electrical Utility Managerial Union President Christopher Hanna says that the lack of communication from Minister of Energy and Transport JoBeth Colby Davis on plans for the restructuring at BPL and the projected impact on employees is disrespectful. Equipment from Pike Corporation, the U.S.-based company that is being contracted to upgrade and manage BPL's transmission and distribution system, that equipment's already on the ground. Hannah telling the NASA Guardian, quote, "That shows total disrespect for the union. In fact, that is a breach of our contract because the government or the corporation has the right to manage, but they're supposed to respect the union and talk with the union as to whatever they're going to do, be in discussions with the union, which is some details of the plans for BPL revealed in June, with the government touting that it's a solution to the utility company's long-standing challenges. Hannah, though, says he hasn't heard anything from the minister in the past 2 months. Sandals Emeralds Bay in Exuma will close on August 15th for 6 to 8 months as the all-inclusive property undergoes a $100 million transformation into a family-friendly beaches resort. The new, larger resort will employ 850 people once it opens. Tourism and Aviation Minister Chester Cooper confirming this in a statement yesterday. The news confirming a report published in Guardian Business earlier this week. Cooper says the construction phase is expected to create 400 jobs as well as other opportunities for local contractors and businesses on Exuma. Sandals Emerald Bay currently employs 425 people, about 200 of whom are native to Exuma. Now, regarding their fate once the property temporarily closes for renovation, Cooper says dozens of them will be kept on to secure and manage. As for other employees, Cooper says efforts will be made to redeploy as many workers as possible to other properties. And from the courts, a jury unanimously convicting Hanaldo Farrington of murder, a murder that took place on Eleuthera almost 15 years ago. Farrington returns to court on October 28th for the penalty phase of his trial before Justice Neil Brathwaite. According to the prosecution's case, Farrington stabbed Tyrone Albury in the throat on December 28, 2009. Farrington, according to the evidence, had a verbal altercation over the access to a bathroom in a bar with Kennard McSweeney. That altercation turned physical. McSweeney was prevented from using the men's bathroom because Farrington's girlfriend was in there. When McSweeney suggested that Farrington's girlfriend use the designated bathroom, Farrington allegedly pulled a knife and started swinging. Other men, including the deceased, tried to intervene in the dispute and were stabbed. For his part, Farrington suggested he was acting in self-defense. The jury rejected this and convicted Farrington of murder and attempted murder. You can read more about it in today's NASA Guardian. Overseas, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer summoned British police chiefs for a crisis meeting today over violent unrest that followed a stabbing attack that left 3 young girls dead. A 17-year-old suspect appeared in court to face 3 counts of murder and 10 of attempted murder. The attack on children at a Taylor Swift-themed summer holiday dance class shocked the country, where knife crime is a long-standing and vexing problem. The deaths have also been used by far-right activists to stoke anger at militants, at immigrants, and Muslims, though the suspect is not an immigrant and his religion has not been disclosed. The suspect has not been named because he is under 18, but police say he was born in Britain. He's not been charged with terrorism offenses, but faces 3 counts of murder over the deaths of children ranging in age from 6 to 9 in the seaside town of Southport in southwest England. He's also been charged with 10 counts of attempted murder over 8 children and 2 adults who were injured. Several of the victims remain in critical condition. The suspect made a brief appearance at Liverpool Magistrates Court today. He was not asked to enter a plea and was ordered detained until his next hearing, scheduled for later in the day. Far-right demonstrators, fueled in part by online misinformation, have held several violent protests, ostensibly in response to the attack, clashing with police outside a mosque in Southport on Tuesday and causing a melee near the Prime Minister's office in London the next day. Starmer's office says he would tell police leaders that while the right to peaceful protest must be protected at all costs, he'll be clear that criminals who exploit that right in order to sow hatred and carry out violent acts will face the full force of the law. Hundreds of protesters chanting, quote, "We want our country back," hurled beer cans and bottles near the Prime Minister's Downing Street residence in London on Wednesday and launched flares at a nearby statue of wartime leader Winston Churchill. More than 100 people were arrested for offenses including violent disorder and assault on an emergency worker, according to the London Metropolitan Police. And President Nicolas Maduro today asking Venezuela's high court to conduct an audit on the presidential election after opposition leaders disputed his claim of victory, drawing criticism from foreign observers who said the court is too close to the government to produce an independent review. Maduro telling reporters that the ruling party is also ready to show all the vote tally sheets from Sunday's election. This is Maduro's first concession to demands for more transparency about the election. However, the court is closely aligned with his government. The court's justices are proposed by federal officials and ratified by the National Assembly, which is dominated by Maduro sympathizers. Center, which sent a delegation to Venezuela to monitor the election, criticized Maduro's audit request, saying the court would not provide an independent review. In sports, at just 17, Zion Miller is one of the youngest members of Team Bahamas at the 2024 Olympics in Paris. He's also one of the fastest. Just 3 Bahamians have run faster than he has in the men's 400 meters. Only Stephen Gardner, Alonzo Russell, and Wendell Miller. In light of that, it appears he may be contributing to the mixed relay. Miller chose to run the under-20 boys 400 meters at the B3A's Kids Athletics Invitational Junior and Senior National Championships in June rather than the Open Men's 400 meter. This time could have been good enough for a third in the Open Men's 400, but with him running in that division, that's where the contention was. For more on this, it's been a very, very much discussed event for Team Bahamas. You can read about it in today's Guardian Sports section. And there's more about how our athletes are preparing for the Olympics in today's Guardian Sports section. Our man Sheldon Longley in Paris with some great stories today. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by the University of the Bahamas and new student orientation this week. Here's what's happening. We've got another hot day expected as a ridge of high pressure extending from the Atlantic across the Bahamas will dominate most of the conditions across the country, with mostly stable conditions today. Meanwhile, a robust and vigorous tropical wave moving across Puerto Rico will continue to move westwards with shower and thunderstorm activity eventually spreading across the southeast Bahamas later today and into the central Bahamas. A special weather statement has been issued by the Department of Meteorology on this strong tropical wave that's likely to bring quite a bit of rain to the Bahamas. We're going to have more on that in just a bit. We've also got a heat advisory that remains in effect for the country, and everyone's being advised to remain hydrated and to take frequent breaks. Boaters in the southeast Bahamas should be alert as the threat for waterspout and funnel cloud activity increases later today, and beachgoers in the central and southeast Bahamas should be alert due to the increasing threat of rip currents along east coast beaches. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, we're looking for partly to mostly sunny and hot conditions. A bit breezy in the central islands with a chance of a few quick passing showers today. Fair tonight with the chance of breezy conditions in the northwest Bahamas. Partly cloudy and breezy in the central islands with isolated showers and thunderstorms. Smallcraft caution is in effect for the central islands and in all Atlantic waters. Gusty winds and higher seas expected in showers and thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots in the northwest Bahamas. Easterly at 10 to 15 knots in the central Bahamas. Seas 2 to 4 feet near shore in the northwest Bahamas, building up to 4 to 7 feet in Atlantic waters and across the central islands. For the southeastern islands today, partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Smallcraft advisory in effect. Winds easterly at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts. Seas 4 to 6 feet near shore, building up to 8 feet offshore in easterly swells. Temperature-wise, today we're looking at highs getting up to around 92 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. But the heat index will make it feel like it's 107 Fahrenheit, 42 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. We are already at about 85 degrees in Nassau, 82 in Freeport. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and look at the tropics coming up in just a bit. This first look at weather brought to you by the University of the Bahamas. Attention all fall 2024 applicants to the University of the Bahamas. The new academic year is fast approaching, and UB is thrilled to welcome you. If you've started your online application, now's the time to submit all outstanding supporting documents. Make sure to send in your transcripts and copies of relevant passport pages urgently to secure acceptance to UB. Remember to keep checking your emails for important updates and reminders. Orientation and advisement for new students kicks off Wednesday, August 7th, and classes begin Monday, August 19th. The University of the Bahamas and the Office of Recruitment and Admissions.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
The end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale or call 396-1100.
Now let me see now. 326 EPIC. Hello. This Epic battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
Attention, all fall 2024 applicants to University of the Bahamas. The new academic year is fast approaching, and we're thrilled to welcome you to UB. But first, we need your help. If you've started your online application, now is the time to submit all outstanding supporting documents. Make sure to send in your transcripts and copies of relevant passport pages urgently. To secure your acceptance to UB, your application must be fully processed. And remember to keep checking your emails for important updates and reminders. Orientation and advisement for new students kicks off on Wednesday, August 7th, and class is Monday, August 19th. This message is brought to you by the Office of Recruitment and Admissions at University of the Bahamas.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Laverne, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Great to hear you. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, all is well.
Wonderful. A lot to get to this morning. I've got a lot in the news, but we also are going to be talking about World Breastfeeding Week. I know you're looking forward to that, Laverne. That kicks off. Sure. That's kicking off today. And then we'll get details about the second annual All Things Bahamian event that's coming up. That's coming up in a few days, and we'll talk about that in business. So that's all ahead. But let's talk about what else is in the news. And in the news, a lot to talk about. We're going to get into everything. But Laverne, I got to ask you, do you have Olympic fever? Are you watching a lot of the Olympics so far?
I won't say that I have Olympic fever, but I'm watching some of the events.
Mm-hmm. So every Olympics, I get.
What's the temperature outside?
Very, very tired of. Okay, get very tired of saying this every Olympics, but I see these very odd sports they have, and like we could do this. I've been talking about this all week on the show, but 3-on-3 basketball, there is no reason why we shouldn't be.
Right.
We got 4 years to work ourselves up to qualify for the next Olympics. But come on.
For sure.
The rules are a little different, but we could do this.
We could start with that.
My God. Come on.
I and I'll be honest, the newer events that I don't quite understand why, I tend not to tune into.
Like what? Which ones are you talking about?
Well, the last Olympics, and I'm sorry, Chester. Sorry, there was like a rock
Yeah,
climbing
don't. He's
thing.
gonna call in again.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand that.
Yeah, he's very excited about it. Boulder and rock climbing.
Right.
So there's a difference, something like that.
So I was like, what is this?
Mm-hmm. And how do you? I think it's timed. That's how you determine the winner. Yeah, so great.
Yes.
Great.
I tried to understand it, and I was like, how did this become an Olympic event?
Well, hey, maybe Chester will go to the next Olympics, and so let's encourage it. Let's encourage it. Why not?
So I fully anticipate between and for the next 4 years that kite will probably be an Olympic event.
And marbles.
Yeah, marbles.
Jacks.
Yes,
And somebody
jacks.
joked about it earlier in the week. Dice. Yeah, it's
Listen to
only a
me,
matter of
Dwight.
time.
If it's jacks, I'm gonna qualify.
Oh, okay. Hopscotch.
I was a mean jacks and hopscotch player.
Yeah. Like epic hopscotch. Like, you go for like a
So
mile.
I'm gonna train.
Yeah.
It's those are I don't know.
They're putting the games in the Olympic Games, So it'll be
Yeah,
all the things you did as a
definitely.
kid. Let's see who's the best in the world.
Yes. What I guess what a bat and ball.
Time.
Some people used to call it souse. We used to call it porky.
Yeah. You bet.
Porky as an Olympic
Each country bring a piece of wood from the forest, the woods of their nation, and let's see. Who knows? But we could do this. There's a whole lot more we could be taking part in, and I keep saying it. We keep talking about rowing, and
Yeah, for sure.
we really
Now,
should have a
on a
presence.
serious note, rowing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Rowing in
For
3
sure.
3-on-3, 3x3, I think they're calling it. Got to do something. So anyway, Prime Minister Davis has returned home after getting treatment for sciatica, and he spoke to reporters at the airport. He seems to be in very good spirits. Take a listen to the Prime Minister and what he had to say.
Oh, I'm in good shape. I'm happy to be back home, ready to go to work. I just want to thank the numerous of Bahamian people who were saying prayers for me while I underwent the treatment. The treatment is a success. Just recovery time and a healing period that I have to go through, but I'm very happy and elated to be home.
Okay, Prime Minister Davis there, wishing him, glad to hear that he's doing well, and I'm glad that he's back.
Yeah, for
Glad
sure.
he's back home. All right, so two big stories. The big headline, the NASA Guardian, 850 jobs pledged for Beaches Resort project, and the F&M calling for urgency in the police corruption probe. Let's begin with the Sandals Beaches issue here. Our Tanika Thompson writing about this. Sandals Emerald Bay in Exuma will close on August 15th for 6 to 8 months as the all-inclusive property undergoes a $100 million transformation into a family-friendly beaches resort. The new, larger resort will employ 850 people once it opens, according to Minister of Tourism and Aviation Chester Cooper in a statement yesterday, which confirmed a report published by Guardian Business earlier this week. Cooper says the construction phase is expected to create 400 jobs, as well as other local contractors and businesses on Exuma. Sandals Emerald Bay currently employs 425 people, about 200 of whom are native to Exuma. Regarding their fate once the property temporarily closes for renovation, Cooper said dozens of them will be kept on to secure and manage the facility. As for other employees, Cooper says efforts will be made to redeploy as many workers as possible to other Sandals properties. How many Sandals properties do we have in the Bahamas?
I thought it was only that one. I could be
Well, Sandals right
mistaken.
here in Nassau. as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So
that's
two.
Two. So they have properties in other countries.
Other countries.
So
Is that likely to happen?
I don't know. How does that work?
I don't understand, but okay. Or are they all going to come to Royal Bahamian here in Nassau?
And how many employees did we say again? I know that
425.
Right, sure. 425 altogether, of which 205 are actually from Exuma.
About, yeah. And they say
Right.
some will
So
be kept on.
425. Some will be dozens will be kept on.
Dozens.
Not hundreds, dozens.
To maintain the property. Yes.
Right. And then, so that would be minimal staff to maintain the property. And then they're going to deploy some. And then what happens to the other some? Because they're not going to deploy everybody other than the staff that they keep to maintain the property. So what happens to the other employees? They're going to be laid off, I'm assuming. And also, is this the same sandals that the government came out?
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay,
Don't jump ahead.
I'm sorry.
Right. Oh,
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, because the timing is very interesting for the announcement.
Yeah. Okay.
But
continue.
Although it might have been in the works for a long time, but current employees of Sandals Emerald Bay will be given priority consideration for employment at Beaches Exuma once that resort opens.
Say that again.
Current employees of Sandals Emerald Bay will be given priority consideration for employment at Beaches Exuma once that resort opens.
So there's no guarantee that they're going to be automatically rehired. Just put
consideration
put to the top of the
pile.
Applicants' pile.
While the temporary closure will be a blow to Exuma's thriving economy, Cooper says that the resort's expansion will ultimately enlarge the market for Bahamian businesses, such as family-friendly restaurants and activities. In the statement, Cooper, who is the Member of Parliament for Exuma and Ragged Island, said, quote, "Though our island will experience a temporary disruption, the investment is a significant one for our community. Beaches Exuma will add to our island's success, employing more than 850 people and significantly boosting local employment and family-focused entrepreneurial activities or opportunities." Cooper says one-on-one with the resort staff began yesterday and will continue over a 2-day period on the options Sandals Emerald Bay is offering to staff, including working on skeleton crews and transfers to other properties in the Turks and Caicos for experience.
What does that mean?
He said, quote, "We will do all we can in providing support to help affected workers transition. A job fair will be held on August 9th for Exuma residents with representatives from existing hotels and new developers." Cooper says, quote, "This job fair is an opportunity for our residents to secure employment as well as upskill, preparing them for the numerous opportunities for that the new beaches Exuma will bring." He says the government expects the construction phase of the new resort to last 6 to 8 months. He's also saying, quote, "Sandoz has assured the government that the temporary closure is necessary in order to protect the safety of staff and visitors while the property undergoes significant renovation. While Sandoz Resorts International operates an all-inclusive property on New Providence, Sandoz Royal Bahamian, this will be its first time bringing a beaches brand to the Bahamas. There are 2 beaches resorts in Jamaica and 1 in the Turks and Caicos. Sandoz is currently embroiled with a legal battle with the government over demand from the Department of Inland Revenue that the resort pay $30.8 million in back taxes related to its Exuma property. Sandoz has challenged this claim. All right, so let's talk about it. So it's interesting that with the tax issue is one, but also let's talk beaches, a family-friendly property. Sandoz, of course, couples resort, adult resort, and I'm noticing that the Bahamas has definitely transitioned away from what it was in the 60s or so, a place for lovers. You know, there were lots of ads with happy honeymooning couples. But we are really trying to be the Disney World.
More family friendly.
Of the Caribbean, it seems. Is that what we want? Is that, I'm just asking. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Is that the direction? Can we not do both? Is this because we have Royal Bahamian and they're saying, well, let that be the one for the adults and the couples and beaches for this beautiful island? What do you make of it? Are we going in the right direction with our branding and our marketing for the whole country? And what do you think of this closure as well? Let's get into all of it. Laverne, you give us your views, and then we'll get our callers in. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. I know you'd asked about the tax issue. What do you think of that and the timing? This is all happening in 1 week.
Right. So that when you started talking about it, immediately that is what stood out to me. That they are embroiled in this. I don't fight, but I'm gonna say it because they are saying we don't. They owe you this amount of money, but the government inland revenue is saying you do some $30+ million, and now on the heels of that, you're closing from 6 to 8 months, and just based on the description that this transformation is going to take place, I wonder, is it just going to be 6 to 8 months? You know, sometimes these projects extend a little bit longer. So maybe this was always in the works, right?
There have been rumors that there would be beaches here, even for New Providence. I think there was a rumor. So this has been somewhere around.
And it's just a big coincidence.
Could be.
That the timing of it could just be a coincidence, or based on inland revenue saying that they owe them money, they could have also decided, we were going to do this in December, but let's do it now.
Is it 2025? Let's do it now.
You know what?
So how about you don't get any revenue for us for 8 months?
So we're not paying the $30 million, and you're not going to get any revenue. We're not paying what you claim that we owe, because we're disputing that, and we're not going to pay you anything now because we've decided to push up this project.
Yeah, very interesting.
That's it. It feels more like that to me, but like I said, it could just be a coincidence. Now on to the other part about our branding, and it seems that maybe it's changed. I think that it has changed. I'm not sure if it's intentional.
It's got to be.
Because sometimes, I feel like we leave much of our product up to, and the branding of who we are. I feel sometimes we leave too much of that. We put too much of that into the hands of these big hotels with big ideas and of what the Bahamas should be, what it should look like.
Oh, they are 110% in control of what they want us to be.
Right. And so maybe they've decided that this is how they're going to market, and we've just gone along with it, which, is a whole other can of worms. But I agree with you. We can be both. We do not have to decide. And the beauty of who we are allows us to be both, because it's not like we are separate islands. You could market this family friendly. This is where you want to go in the Bahamas if you have children and you want that family friendly environment, and we have things that just cater. And then you could have these islands over here if you want a romantic getaway, just you and your partner and whatever. This is where you go. We can absolutely do both.
Okay, interesting.
We don't have to just be one, because we have different islands.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just one island, and so we could definitely do both. But like you said, in most recent years, it's become more of a family destination. And again, like you said, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
All right. Let's hear from you all. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Morning.
Yeah, I was curious, just catching on what's happening here. How many people will be laid off? What's the number?
We don't know exactly, but they have
How many will be laid
425.
off?
425. They have 425 employees. Again,
Wow.
they've said that some will be used to maintain the property, and others will be deployed to other Sandals branded Sandals or Beaches properties.
Yeah, because I know in the past some companies have absorbed some of the staff even through the construction phase. Another idea to save and sustain some of the jobs, because they may have options where the men or women could work on the construction phase, try to minimize the layoff situation, and what they need to do too, if they know they're going to have all these people, what they should do is have a permanent staff, minimum permanent staff, and maybe have part-time workers. So those persons who are part-time, they have other jobs, rather than having 400 permanent staff go home, man. That's kind of rough.
I think they may say that based on what you read, because they did talk about looking at maintaining some skeleton staff, I think is what you said, Dwight?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
Maybe.
just thinking you might find an organization might have 300 staff, and out of the 300 staff, they may have 150 permanent. So if anything like this was to happen, then you really could focus on the 150 and maybe to try to minimize that and maybe put them in different parts rather than the whole 300, you see what I'm saying? Because the part-time workers will still have jobs. So maybe that's what the angle they should come with, rather than the 400 staff, because then that's a big effect in the economy. So I'm thinking if they're going to hire people, they should hire half fully permanent and half part-time who have other jobs. So even if they're going to lay off, they can still maintain the 150, and the 150 who are part-time, they can still go back to their regular jobs until the resort has done all their construction. That's what I'm thinking in my mind.
Yeah, you probably should keep that to yourself. Don't give them any ideas. That's not necessarily beneficial to those workers. I think that could be problematic for a lot of people. But I hear you. Maybe that should be an option. But I hear you. Thank you very much for the call. This person says, I don't think the Sandals closure is a coincidence at all. This isn't the first time that I've responded to the finance, I gotta meet you outside, iron hand, by closing its doors. And Sandals has done this before. There were issues, remember? And they closed to renovate and let everybody go and hired back people who weren't pushing for a union a few years back. So, but who knows?
I guess it's almost looking, if we base it on that, like this is a part of their strategy. Like when they get upset, we're just going to pack up our marbles and go home for a little while. Or we'll be back.
This texter says, why aren't you reading my message about the unmarked cars, regular plates, and SDs picking up tourists? This is a very dangerous situation. It needs to be stopped. I can just hear a story coming now. We've been talking about the unmarked cars and the plates, but your SDs picking up tourists. Well, almost every car wearing an SD plate is a menace to society. Almost every single one, and I don't know what these rental companies are all about. This is the latest scam, sham, bitchery. This is because clearly you must know that this person coming in to rent this hatchback is up to nothing with sense because of the way they're driving. So they don't care. I don't know if it's all. I doubt it, but too many. But yes, SDs around here these days. Satanic devil? Is that what that stands for? I don't know.
I have said for years that if someone gifted me an SD company, I'd have to respectfully decline because of the way that people who rent the cars here at home, the way that they
Freeport too?
drive these cars, it's terrible.
Oh, it's a mess. Yeah,
it is terrible.
Talk about tax write-offs. That must be what's going on here. I don't understand it because this can't be what your company's into. These people, wow. Oh boy. Anyway, but yeah, something terrible will likely happen. Unfortunately, you're right about that, and then and likely they'll get hit by a car that doesn't have a plate at all, and then no one will know what in God's name happened. But this is how we're living on the edge. This is as that Canadian expat said she loves the chaos and the no rules. That's what we are. Family-friendly resorts and chaos on the streets. Welcome to the Bahamas. Boy, let's take this call. Good morning, you're on the air.
I don't think that's what we're going.
You sure? Okay. Hi, caller, you're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Good morning. Dwight gave me a fact. The first question I wanted to ask was, first of all, you have to find out how many of those employees are Bahamians, and particularly Sandals and Dwight. They are not a good corporate citizen, okay? They hire a lot of foreigners to do work that Bahamians can do, okay? And they also hire a lot of foreigners without work permit. From time to time, you have them come in, they come and they go, all right? They underpay Bahamian, okay, and they don't treat them with a lot of respect, okay? And when you come to the other part of the tax, Dwight, I also want to comment on that. But they're not a good corporate citizen in Exuma.
Well, we're there now.
Okay?
You can, I mean,
And
you
you
said
have to
that's
find out how many
serious claims, but yeah, well, we're at the tax thing. What do you have to say about that? We're there. Oh, no, he's not hearing us. Okay. Boy, that's a lot. That's a lot. But again, out of the 425, according to Chester Cooper, 200 are native to Exuma.
Exuma, right.
Does that mean they're Bahamians? I guess. Yeah. Oh, boy. It's another call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Dwight, how you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good. Listen, man, I think for far too long in this country, we allow these big anchor projects and properties of the dominance of financial impact in these islands and our tourism products, man. You know, this Sandals brand has been down there for a very long time. And it's really unacceptable that we continue not to invest or to allow Bahamians, you know, to open small boutique hotels, man, to encourage economic growth, to use their brand as springboard smaller resorts. No way that.
I mean, you think that's not being encouraged?
It's not. No. Not to the extent that this hotel has been there for a very long time, and you know, I think during Minister's administration, you know, the stuff the Bahamians have to go through just to acquire property as a local investor. I could tell you, Dwight. I could tell you. You know, the Dominican Republic ended 2023 with a record 42 new small boutique hotels in the pipeline. Because, you know, it's something they understand, but it's sustainable. You cannot have a big anchor property in that island for all those years, and when all of a sudden they can pull the plug in 2 weeks, you have an economic problem down in the island, man. That's unacceptable. And it ain't just for the 400 employees, you know. It's people who operate in tours. You know, some people operate tours down there who people are canceling. People are canceling tours, canceling the restaurants that when these people leave the properties, they have to go to these restaurants. One tour operator says 80% of their business comes from Sandals. 80% of their business comes from Sandals. It cannot be that dominant in that market, and we allowed that to happen over time. We must encourage smaller resorts and stuff in these islands, man.
Okay.
And you know, and to the tax issue, when you allow someone to operate like that, because from what I've read, they said that they offered a letter from their bank to cover the 30-something million in taxes, and that was turned down. So you know, you now have to negotiate because it doesn't. You owe 30-something million, but these people have a direct impact on the lives of the Bahamians who live down there because you allow it. You allow it, man. Now, you talking about a resort that doesn't have a timeline for when they're going to reopen. So what is this all about?
Yeah. Wow.
It's happening all across the Bahamas. We talk about the economic numbers in terms of tourist arrivals, and we bragging. You know, the tourists that comes here that spend that overstay, that comes by plane, that's declining. And no way our numbers could be up, sir. No way our numbers could be up. And a resort like Sandals is pulling out and closing. If we have so much growth in that particular area, it's unacceptable.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You're raising a lot of great points. Thank you for saying it. Boy, wow. It is definitely a few months heading into the holidays and what I guess would have been a busy time for
And
this
as the
area.
caller mentioned, it isn't just those who are employed directly from the hotel. It's people who have other tourist-related businesses. They rely on, guests from the hotel coming to them and spending money, whether it's tours or in the stores or in their restaurants. And so all of them are going to be impacted. And as he said, at this stage, why are we allowing one hotel to have, and I'm just speaking in general, to have this much impact on that economy?
Well, New Providence is no different.
Yeah.
If one of
but
the
I'm
two
just
big ones
saying,
do something, we're in big problems. So, yeah.
the model is just big hotels.
Mm-hmm.
Big hotels.
Some calls really quickly before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, Dwight, with this issue, right, I would just like for us 1 second, we should look at the economics, which is very important. But I like to look at the socioeconomics or the psychology surrounding our tourist industry. And if we ever have the opportunity, I'd like us to do just a cohort study and look at the psyche by these people who work in the tourist industry, being a person who work in one of these hotels. Dwight, if you was to 1 second try get a group of these people together, and I talking to people who've been working in this industry for years, you would see some of the most awkward backwardness you could ever imagine. Talking about cooperation and talking about group investment is like almost like pulling teeth. It's like people who come into this industry from the grassroots up, it's like they completely oblivious to how operations run and the understanding of cooperation. It's like, Dwight, if our government really do a study and see the brain drain that is affecting our country as a result of this, and how a lot of these people brains and thinking is in limp mode, and that is the key reason why we seeing more elaborate cooperative efforts in regards to building small hotels, in regards to building these small cooperation to get a bigger piece of this pie. Mm-hmm. But when you go into it, Dwight, if we look at all the things that we run in, you will look around and see that the hardest thing to do is to get these people to actually cooperate or talk percentages or talk any form of thing that has anything with sensibility to involve. It's like it turning us into a bunch of megalomaniac, sex crave, wild, get money throw in the air. I mean, the psychology of when these hotels do leave, most of the people like unskilled and then don't have the intellectual capacity to actually go there and be able to come together and foster new economic advancement and initiatives. And I wouldn't even talk about relationships, because you get involved with them and you give some of these people 5-10 minutes and you don't want to be involved.
Wow.
So I think what we need to look at is the psychology and the surrounding what this industry is actually doing to us.
That's deep. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We got to take a break. Callers, please hold. We'll come back to you. Let's take this break, and we've got a whole lot of your text messages to get to. This is Morning Blend on a Thursday, the first day of August. Oh, gosh. 2024. Stay with us here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Got a one-room apartment to a little tiny space. Isn't much but keeps the rain off my pretty baby's face. I'm just getting by and the money spent. Don't even know how I'm gonna pay the monthly rent, but I know exactly what I wanna do. I wanna make this work with you. yeah. I know you wonder what I mean. I know you wonder what I mean. Nothing in life is guaranteed. Nothing in life is guaranteed. I never know just where I'm going. I never know just where I'm going. Yeah. I need direction, baby.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
And it is time for your first good traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Find your loan solution with RBC. A reminder of the work going on Tawny Gloom Sterling Highway between Bahamas Games Boulevard and Independence Drive. You want to avoid that area if you can. They're trying to start paving that road, and it is technically closed. But keep that in mind. That's the eastbound lanes there. In your real-time traffic right now, we've got Marla Butler Highway seeing some heavy traffic as you approach Harold Pond northbound towards roundabout with Tawny Glooms Darling Highway. And some slow-moving and heavy traffic on Carmichael westbound on the way to Coral Harbor Road. Blue Hill Road, as you get closer to the roundabout with Independence Drive, you're going to be seeing some heavy traffic as you get over that hill. And Robinson Road near Old Trail, and as you get closer to the intersection with East-West Highway Marathon, that area looking a little congested as well. That's your first look at traffic this morning. We'll have another update for you after the 8 o'clock news. Morning Blend Traffic brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you. And time for another check of your weather, brought to you by Easy Car Sales. We've got another hot day in store as a ridge of high pressure extending from the Atlantic across the Bahamas dominates the weather across most of the country today, with mostly stable conditions. But a robust and vigorous tropical wave moving across Puerto Rico will continue to make its way westwards, with shower and thunderstorm activity spreading across the southeast Bahamas and into the central Bahamas by tonight. More on that in a bit. But we've got some warnings. We've got a heat advisory, another one for today. We've got a warning about water spout and funnel cloud activity in the southeast Bahamas for boaters and beachgoers. In the central and southeast Bahamas should be alert for rip currents along east coast beaches. So for today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, look for partly to mostly sunny and hot conditions across the area, but a bit breezy in the central Bahamas with a chance of a few quick passing showers. Fair tonight across the northwestern islands to partly cloudy and breezy in the central islands with isolated showers and thunderstorms possible. For the southeast Bahamas, partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms today through tonight. Smallcraft advisory in effect for the southeast Bahamas. Smallcraft caution in effect for the central islands and in all Atlantic waters. Temperatures today, as we said, a hot day in store. Highs around 92 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, but the heat index and the humidity will make it feel like it's 107 Fahrenheit, 42 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight get into very warm, 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. It is currently about 85 in Nassau, 83 now in Freeport. In your extended outlook, we are keeping an eye on that tropical wave that will continue to shift westwards across the Bahamas while bringing scattered showers and thunderstorms over the next few days. The National Hurricane Center expects a medium chance, about 60% chance, that the wave could develop into a tropical depression as it moves through or when it just exits the Bahamas through the weekend into the beginning of next week. It's a holiday weekend, so it could be a wet one here. Everybody's being advised to pay close attention to all weather bulletins over the next few days. So for Friday, partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some showers will be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Smallcraft advisory will be in effect. Saturday, partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some will be locally heavy and strong to severe at times. We'll have a closer look at this tropical wave in our next weather check after the 8 o'clock news. This weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Have a question about electric vehicles? We'll visit iamgeneratione.com to find out more.
great device deals and offers this summer? Look no further. Alive has special discounts on the latest smartphones, Ring devices, and accessories. Plus, as an Alive customer, you can expect exclusive Get Extra offers and rewards, which means even more value for your money. We're talking more data, prizes, and surprises. Upgrade with us and experience the perfect summer with Alive in store or at bealive.com/deal.
Attention Bahamas. Embark on an inspiring voyage with 2 new books by Hubert Ingram, Our Remarkable 3-Time PM. Learn of his exceptional leadership in steering the nation through local and international storms. These books are a treasure for all Bahamians. Are you into history or seeking inspiration? Then this is a must-read. Available at Doongalik, Logos, the National Art Gallery, and Chapter 1. Get your copies today. Be inspired by a legacy of wisdom and vision.
RBC. Life is full of twists, turns, and defining moments that create your own unique story. However your story unfolds, we're here to help guide you through it. From every big decision to every new adventure, RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
We're gonna give you a check every week for a year. Percy's pension plan. In game, keep you winning. Percy's pension plan. Dream big, we will help you live it. Percy's pension plan. Island game, we got you. Percy's pension plan. From the friends you can trust. If winning is a must, go play the game you know, cause your best chance is with us. The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy train at Percy's Island Game.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Olympic 2024 coverage brought to you by the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism, Jimmy's Wines and Spirits, Executive Motors, Hertz Rent-A-Car, Najiko Insurance, Bay Street Garage, NASA Motors, and New Life Natural.
Good morning, Bahamas. This is Strachan only coming to you from the games of the 33rd Olympiad here in Paris, France. We're in the middle of a little bit of a lull right now for Team Bahamas. We haven't had any athletes in action for the past 2 days. Just Lamar Taylor in action so far. He swam in the men's 100-meter free. He finished first in his heat and was tied for 26 overall in a new national record of 48.84 seconds. The next swimmer for Team Bahamas, Renishka Gibbs, she wouldn't be in action until Saturday in the heat of the women's 50-meter free. I was able to catch up with the president of Bahamas Aquatics, Algernon Agel. Here's what he had to say about the mood of the Bahamian team so far.
The mood of the Bahamas Aquatics team here in Paris is very positive. Coach Trevano is doing an excellent job in keeping the athletes motivated and focused on their goal. Of course, the team is excited with Lamar's Taylor outstanding swim in the 100-meter freestyle event, where he not only swam a new national record, but was the second best performer overall in the Caribbean. Lamar's future is very bright. Next up for the Bahamas will be Renishka Gibbs in the 50-meter freestyle, and we also expect Renishka to perform at a very high standard.
That was Algernon Agel, president of Bahamas Aquatics, speaking on the mood of Team Bahamas so far in the swimming competition. Also of note, Algernon, he is serving as a World Aquatics Bureau member here at these Olympic Games, and he was able to present awards for the winners in the men's free. This is his second straight Olympics in which he's been called upon to be a presenter of awards. So here's what he had to say about that.
It was an uplifting experience to be asked by World Aquatics to present medals at the 2024 Paris Games. I presented the awards in the male 4x200 meter freestyle that was won by Great Britain. The United States was second and Australia was third. And certainly, while it was an uplifting and positive moment, I must thank Bahamas Aquatics for continuing to support me and elevating me to this level in order that I could represent the Bahamas, and certainly do so with pride.
Bahamas House Adrian Cargill speaking on the joy of presenting medals at the swimming competition yesterday afternoon. Also of note, Mansell Roberts, he is the first Bahamian official to serve at the Olympics. He's doing so right now as we speak, officiating poolside, at the La Defense Arena here in Paris. So once again, Lamar Taylor swimming a new national record in the men's 100-meter free, 48.84 seconds. The only other swimmer for Team Bahamas, Srineshka Gibbs, she will be in action in the heats of the women's 50-meter free on Saturday. Athletics get underway tomorrow. We have a group of Bahamian athletes who will be in competition. Ken Mullings, he will get the action started off with Team Bahamas, competing in the first 5 events of the men's decathlon. We also will have Charisma Taylor in action. She will be jumping in the qualifying rounds of the women's triple jump. And the Bahamas' mixed 4x400 meter relay team, they will get on the track as well. In the pool, we have Zion Miller, Wendell Miller, Alonzo Russell, Shania Adderley, Savonia Walcott, Quincy Penn. They're all in the pool. I'm not quite sure who the 4 will be, who will run in the heats of that event as yet. They will be in action tomorrow, trying to get Team Bahamas into the final. This is Sheldon Long reporting live from the games of the 33rd Olympiad here in Paris, France.
Olympic 2024 coverage brought to you by the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism, Jimmy's Wines and Spirits, Executive Motors, Hertz Rent a Car, Najiko Insurance, Bay Street Garage, NASA Motors, and New Life Natural.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
I know you wonder what nothing in life is scary. I never know just where I'm going. Yeah. I need direction, baby. No
We're back with Morning Glen. We're going to go to news in just a bit. Before we go, Laverne, somebody sent a text in to say, I hope I haven't lost it. They rented a car and that they want to assure us that they definitely did not drive their SD in the manner that we discussed earlier. So there's 1 or 2 people doing it, I guess. Maybe this text is the person I saw driving 20 miles per hour in an SD in a 45 zone. Maybe that's the person there. Good for you. Good for you. All right, callers, we're going to get this back on the other side of the news. We're going to break for news. We'll be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Yeah. I know you wonder what nothing in life is scary. I never know just where I'm going. Yeah. I need direction, baby.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:22, it's time for another check of your weather for today. Brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. We've got a lot going on. We've got another hot day expected. We've got a ridge of high pressure extending from the Atlantic across the Bahamas. That's going to dominate weather across the country, producing mostly stable conditions. But we've got a robust and vigorous tropical wave moving across Puerto Rico now, and it's heading towards the Bahamas. That's going to bring shower and thunderstorm activity across the southeast Bahamas beginning later today and into the central Bahamas overnight. And as a result, we've got a special weather statement from the Department of Meteorology on that strong tropical wave. The public's being urged to keep up to date with all information on this weather, this rainmaker that'll impact us over the weekend. We've also got a heat advisory today, another one, and everyone's being advised to remain hydrated and wear sunscreen, limit outdoor activities, and to take frequent breaks. Plus, boaters in the southeast Bahamas should be alert for waterspout and funnel cloud activity. And beachgoers in the central and southeast Bahamas should be alert for rip currents along east coast beaches. So for today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, partly mostly sunny and hot, but a bit breezy in the central islands with a chance of a few quick passing showers. Fair tonight across the northwest Bahamas. Partly cloudy and breezy in the central islands with isolated showers and thunderstorms possible. In effect for the central Bahamas and for all Atlantic waters. For the southeast Bahamas, partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms today through tonight. Small craft advisory in effect. Temperatures getting up to around 92 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like it's 107 Fahrenheit, 42 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that tropical wave is going to continue to shift west across the Bahamas, bringing scattered showers and thunderstorms across the islands over the next few days. The National Hurricane Center in the U.S. expects a medium, about 60% chance that the system could develop into a tropical depression as it moves through or as it just exits the Bahamas over the weekend. Everyone needs to be paying close attention to this. It could result in some heavy rain and maybe even flooding for some parts of the country. For Friday, tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some showers will be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. And Saturday, pretty much partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy, scattered showers and thunderstorms. Showers will be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. For Friday and Saturday, small craft advisory will be in effect. Gusty winds and higher seas expected in showers and thunderstorms. So more on this wave. That well-defined tropical wave is producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms right now over Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands and the waters of the southwestern Atlantic. Development of this system is unlikely during the next few days, but environmental conditions are forecast to become more conducive for development as the wave passes the Greater Antilles, and a tropical depression could form this weekend or early next week over the eastern Gulf of Mexico. That will be after it moves away from us. Formation chance through 7 days is a medium at about 60%, and tropical cyclone formation not expected in the next 7 days. So that's after it passes us, but that means on its path through the Bahamas, it'll bring a lot of rain and thunderstorms and potential flooding. So keep that in mind for your hot weekend, unfortunately. But that is your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints has got you covered for all of your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. And time for another check of traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Find your loan solution with RBC. In your real-time traffic right now, not bad out there on the streets in New Providence. We've got Mile Highway north now of Harold Pond. You'll see just, manageable. A few cars in front of you heading toward the roundabout with Tawny Williams-Darling Highway. Westbound traffic on Tawny Williams-Darling Highway towards that roundabout. There'll be a line in front of you there, and southbound on Mile Highway as well as you approach the roundabout. Elsewhere, Carmichael Road is where you're seeing some issues. Heavy traffic westbound to Coral Harbor Road, and a bit of congestion eastbound as you approach Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill Road north of Soldier on the way to Independence Drive. Also, a bit of congestion there. But elsewhere, pretty manageable at this hour. That's what we're looking at. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/all of you.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 6.9 FM.
My baby born a Birkin. She's been telling me all night long. Gasoline and groceries, the list goes on and on. This 9 to 5 ain't working. Why the hell do I work so hard? I can't worry about my problems. I can't take them when I'm gone. 1, here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Tell them bring another round, we need plenty more.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about breastfeeding and World Breastfeeding Week, which kicks off this week. And later in business, we're talking about the second annual All Things Bahamian event that is coming up. So that's all ahead. And Laverne, okay, we got a few text messages to get to, and then wanted to briefly get into what the opposition is saying about the corruption probe with the police force. All right, so this texter, this is in response to a caller who said that we need to encourage more small businesses, small Bahamian hotels, boutique hotels, right? This person says, and well, Bahamians are owning hotels because Frankie Wilson is involved in Jack's Bay, but then that's not quite a boutique. That's not what they're talking about there. We do have a few boutique hotels, not as many in New Providence as we used to probably, on some of the family islands, but definitely there's a lot more that could be done. The giant, not everybody's into that, the giant hotels on resorts on the family islands, if you have the land, and as the caller said, it's very difficult to come into that. It's a challenge, I can imagine. It's a challenge. This texture says here, under projects, I think Exuma is the most diverse island with a vast number of Bahamian and foreign-owned boutique hotels. Just go on booking.com. They are expensive, but there are many, and other islands can follow suit. Yeah. And a lot of people doing Airbnbs, especially in Exuma. So that has opened things up a bit. But I think he's saying there should be more incentives? More
Right. More incentives for Bahamians to open these boutique hotels. Like the incentives that they give the bigger hotels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
Right?
Yeah. This texture says here
entrepreneurship.
Right. This texture says the Bahamas appears to be void of ideas on how to run and improve our product, and we have relinquished our responsibilities to the hotels. The hotel owners can pull power moves like Sandals did or does anytime they want, and we can't do anything about it. Wow.
And also, just kind of thinking about this whole Sandals thing. Clearly, this is something I believe. I don't think that this came as a shock to the government that they were planning to do this transformation.
No, it's been talked about for a little bit.
Right. So this isn't a shock.
Maybe the timing.
The timing. And that's why I said maybe the timing, all of a sudden, they sped up the timing. But certainly with them doing this transformation, this grand transformation, this wouldn't have been something that they just thought of overnight. And of course, I'm sure that they informed the government, their timeline just sped up. That's my belief.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to know how many bookings they had in August. So that's usually a slow period. But
August, I mean, it slows down in August, right?
uh-huh.
But I'm thinking September is more of the slow period.
Yeah.
August, you are still getting some of those late travelers.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Mm.
I think
Well, I
maybe
mean,
they changed their timeline.
I would imagine as a couple.
And that is me totally not having any inside information. Let me just say that.
I would think as a couples resort, I mean, that would be the place to go. We're right, no kids.
Right.
August at a place like Sandals would be amazing. This person says here, Sandals did the same thing in Turks and Caicos, and the government forgave the taxes. They're trying to do the same thing with the Bahamas. Let the government take it over. Stop talking foolishness now. Come on. Let the government take it over and get a property management company to run it.
Okay, well, two things. The government is not going to forgive that $30 million because, listen, you see these task force and stuff, I'll just leave that there.
Well,
They're not going to forgive that
for a
$30
company
million.
like Sandals? Who knows? I don't know.
Okay, well, let me see. If it's true and Sandals does owe the government, if the government's calculation is accurate and Sandals does owe that money, they need to pay it.
I think if it were Laverne's resort, they wouldn't forgive you.
If it was Laverne Sandals or Slippers,
Laverne Slippers
Boutique,
right? No,
you'd be shut down.
You'd be under the sand.
We cannot allow anyone to hold us over the barrel this way. We are the prize. I always say to people, when investors come here, whether it's a hotel, corporation, whatever it is, when they make a decision to come to the Bahamas, it isn't because, I want to go there because I like Dwight. Or I want to go there because they're nice people. I want to help them. They have done their due diligence and they have determined with their board, with their people, that this would be the best place. This would be most advantageous to them. Their business is going to be successful here.
If they knew me, Laverne, they would do that. They would.
Right. But I'm just saying.
Right, because
we don't need. We have to be able to recognize that we are the prize. We have the things that they want and they feel necessary, and no one should be able to over a barrel in that sense.
Yeah.
So certainly they should not be forgiving any kind of monies owed, especially because you would bring the task force, the FBI, the CIA, everybody in uniform. If it was my boutique hotel and I owed you $500,
and they'd take all the guests. They'd take them all, put them in the boardroom.
They'd line them all off.
Yeah.
So no. If that money is owed, then it needs to be paid.
Wow. Callers, we'll get to you in a second. This texter says here, I worked in Exuma over a decade ago in a government agency where I had an interaction with, with the late Butch Stewart. I remember when the hotel wanted to unionize workers in Nassau, and Butch said that they would close the property first. This seems like, they did do that. They absolutely did do that. This feels like the same strategy his son Adam is using. Probably had the rebranding in mind, but conveniently decided to use it at this time in this dispute with Inland Revenue.
Right.
Yeah, it does seem like this timeline was bumped up.
It feels spiteful. It feels the timeline, not the renovation, transformation, whatever. No, I believe that was always the intention.
Yeah.
That they were going to do that. But the timeline appears, to my estimation, to be a spiteful one.
Yeah. This texter says this isn't really about allowing someone to operate in a given way. Having the entire economy on one industry anywhere is trouble waiting to happen. For us, it's tourism in numbers. Their tentacles are everywhere. If they shake, we will crumble. We need diversification. But we seem bent on contracting all economic power a select few brokers. The BPL deal is one such example. As details come out about who's on the board and who's driving the historical price hikes, it's even more mind-blowing. Okay. And this one says here, suspicious timing given the negative comments about employee treatment and corporate culture being circulated. What? And this one says, you need to realize that this bringing forward of renovations to detract against the paying of the taxes, $30 million against 800 jobs. Government is jumping for 800 jobs. Trust me. Wow. Okay, let's take these calls really quickly. Running out of time for this segment. Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning again, Dwight and Laverne. You
Hi.
wanted to ask me a question earlier, but I hung up too soon.
Yeah, you were saying you wanted to talk about the taxes. I say talk about it now.
Yes, Dwight. I don't know if you can remember under the previous Strachan administration, Charlene Robinson, Sanders had said that they had some issue with the Strachan government because they were not acting in good faith. Well, Sanders did not pay their hotel licensing. And what the Strachan government did was they suspended them from opening the beaches until they paid the license fees. So this is also the norm with Tom Sanders, okay? So you got to fight fire with fire with them.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy.
Let's take another call really quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Dwight. Good morning. Good morning, Laverne.
Hi.
Good morning.
Very quickly here, it's so sad that this thing it continues to happen over the decades. Having been in the hospitality industry over the past 30 plus years, I can tell you, whenever you allow an entity to run up a bill like that, especially on an annual basis, and you don't collect on it, then the finger should not be pointed at the operation. You need to go back at the collection agency of the government that is responsible for collecting these taxes and fees. How is it that you have major corporations that turn over profits continuously hold the Bahamas government at bay by not paying their fair share of taxes and stuff, but yet you want the small man such as myself to pay all our taxes on time? If not, the services are withdrawn. We have to stop this double tier nonsense and get everybody to pay their fair share. I mean, how many times is it that this entity or that entity has not paid their taxes? And then, in closing, now it makes the Bahamian people now more suspicious about the timing of this now, where you're already saying that this entity owes $30+ million, and now you got a closure of a property for 6, 8, 10 months to do something else. I mean, Exuma is booming. I mean, why do you have to close one entity when if they're really interested in boosting the economy of Exuma, then acquire another parcel of land and build another entity? I mean, another structure to continue the employment opportunities on the island. That's all it is. But thanks for taking my call this one.
Okay. Well, they say they want a bigger resort.
Right.
And they have already acquired property next to the one where the Emerald Bay
to make this
Emerald Bay
bigger.
is, right, to make this one big beaches. Yeah.
Right.
This texture
Which,
says,
like we said, was always in the works. It's just the timeline.
Yeah.
I can show y'all. Y'all say I owe y'all $30 million? Okay. How about we shut this down? We can start construction right now.
Oh boy. Callers, we got to go. Let's take this one really quickly. We got to go though. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Laverne.
Hi.
Let me just say that as it relates to this whole situation with Sandals, it's unfortunate that our government is still not being proactive. While the employer has to give the government some notice as it relates to furloughing persons while something is happening, we still have to be more proactive, man. For example, you're saying that 420 plus workers at Sandals and Exuma. Now, we ought to have known in advance what they can do so we can ensure that they have the skill set necessary for whatever renovations they're about to do so that we could provide them with Bahamian workers. Because I know they're going to bring a bunch of foreign workers, and they can use the excuse that they can need these foreign workers to get the project finished in a timely fashion. So I hope that that's not the case. And I hope that the governments would be more proactive in ensuring that when you're going to furlough persons, of course, if they're doing a project, they know in advance and where the skill sets may be on that job now performing a different task, they give it an opportunity to fill those positions. Now, I also want to talk to you what's going on in Grand Bahama.
Really quick. We got about 30 seconds.
I am so disappointed with the press in Grand Bahama. I did 2 interviews in Grand Bahama concerning the celebration key. And the little coverage that we got, we didn't get any coverage at all in some instances, especially with Deadlift, no coverage at all. Our care farmers did a little something, but nothing concerning the concerns. So let me quickly tell you the concerns are. They're concerned that there is a subcontractor in Grand Bahama who is not adhering to Bahamian laws as relates to ensuring that persons are paid minimum wage, that the persons who are there as relates to work permit has legal work permits. They're not carrying a work permit as a laborer and performing as a technical or a full-skilled person. They're not disadvantaging or discriminating against Bahamians as relates to distribution of overtime. And the verbal abuse that some of the Bahamians are complaining that they're faced with on the job site is addressed. I spoke to the Labor Department more than a week ago in Grand Bahama. To no avail. They have done no investigation. I made it known to the press. We didn't get any coverage on it. I'm really, really disappointed in the manner in which there has to be some heavy government hands in this.
Wow.
Because nobody seems to want to address these issues. I don't know why that's happening, but I think that it's so wrong for Grand Bahamians to not be given an opportunity to fill some of those positions. And they get Grand Bahamians all over the Bahamas. They displaced all over the Bahamas. Some even going past Canada. They would like to come home and get a job and to be able to earn a decent living in their own country. But they're being mistreated already, and this project even ain't finished yet.
Right.
And they're being mistreated. So what's going to happen when it's finished? We got to stop. Louane, you made a very important observation earlier when you talk about the way governments negotiate with these investors for these anchor projects. They act as if we have nothing to bring to the table. We're giving them land. We're giving them concessions. And they still come here and act as if they do it. We got to stop going after the project, bragging about the 300 jobs, the 800 jobs. There's a bunch of nonsense. These are simple jobs Bahamians are getting, and the investors going to make all the money. Why we can't adopt a 49%, 51%? We're giving you land, we're giving you 20-year concession. Why we can't get equities in these business in the best of the Bahamians? Let me get a line, man. And I said in the press statement then, and Dwight, if you send me your number, I'll send you the press I did. At the release I did, I'll get it. If you send me your number, or I'll let Louane send you your number.
You have my number, John, but I'll send you, and I'll have our people give you a...
Okay, and then you can go to it. But let me just end by saying this. We got to stop acting as if an investor coming here doing us a favor. These people do their studies. They come because they know they can make a profit. They ain't coming here to do us no favor.
Yeah.
They know they can make a profit.
Okay.
And so we got to stop negotiating as if they do us a favor, man. Don't go bragging, but you're getting no $4 million to it. The only thing you get is the hair tax. The Bahamians can't benefit. I'm hearing that when that project finishes Celebration Key, that the people will swipe their cards on the ship, and they will not spend a U.S. dollar, physical dollar, on that when they visit the key. And take that key and go around Grand Bahama. They don't need to be on that key. That won't profit us, so don't go bragging, but you make it $4 million a hair tax, 9, 12 million tourists coming. When you get a hair tax, come on, man, let me get wake up. And it's not going to never happen in Grand Bahama until we fix the airport. I talk to people personally who I know have interest in fixing the hotel, and they will say they ain't doing an investment in Grand Bahama until there's this.
Yeah.
You got to be able to put heads in bed for people to buy the hotel.
John, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Wow. It's a lot going on in your island, Laverne. Definitely a lot. This text here, I am ecstatic that Sandals is changing to a family resort, but the government better get our tax money from them. And this person says here they're very happy. They sound like they want to make a booking with Laverne's Slippers Resort. They're interested in slippers. Yeah. Let's go to the break. We'll be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio.
We gon' do this again. Tell your girl to bring a friend. Oh, Lord, 1. Here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4. Tell them bring another round. We need plenty more. 2 stepping on the...
Don't shop at Sherwin-Williams then. Don't get the best service in the Bahamas then.
The love is really, really strong in Sherwin-Williams. We don't just sell paint. We service you with a smile, good hearts, mind, soul, and body. And we love our customers as much as we love ourselves.
Yes, real talk.
I'm not just saying this
Real talk.
to impress myself.
We love to go beyond with customer service. So they feel delighted to come in Sherwin-Williams because they know I can either see Dee Dee, or I can see Shelly, or one of our other wonderful staff members. We treat our customers with the respect of our boss because there are many paint companies they could choose to go to. No, baby. If they go to some other paint companies, so I gonna get this little thing at the end of the week.
We want to make sure you get that little ting, Shelley. Come visit Shelley and Dee Dee at Sherwin-Williams, Bahamas, and you'll surely find colour in every day.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit cfal.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice. It's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the know-how team at 396-1101.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Experience the immediate care you deserve at Doctors Hospital Urgent Care. When emergency strikes, trust our expert physicians for fast, quality care. With extended hours and cutting-edge medical technology, we're always ready to serve you. Don't wait or take risks with your health. Visit our urgent care suite at Doctors Hospital West on Blake Road for immediate, trusted, and best care.
Craving something delicious and freshly made? Dunkin' has got you covered all day your way. From savory sausage, egg and cheese to crispy bacon, ham, and even tuna. Our sandwiches are made to order just for you. Choose your favorite. Bagels, croissant, toast, or muffin. Whatever you want, we've got it. Whether it's a classic grilled cheese or a hearty club, your perfect sandwich is just a bite away. Dunkin's fresh, made-to-order sandwiches made all day your way. Only at Dunkin'. The Bahamas runs on Dunkin'.
Now let me see now. 326 EPIC. Hello? This Epic battery. This from around the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
To the world. The Bahamas is big thing. My island is big thing. All over is big thing. The Bahamas is big thing. The Bahamas is big thing. My island is big thing. All over is big thing. The Bahamas is big thing. Now many other countries they be lucky like us. With the sun does shine from dawn till dusk. From Freeport to Inapa, we can travel, never leave on time, but we can check in early. Bahamas is big thing. My island is big thing. All over is big thing. The Bahamas is big thing.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan of the Vern Gardner, and a World Breastfeeding Week kicks off today. Here to tell us all about this, we're very pleased to have back with us Janika McCarty and Happy Sam Simonet. Ladies, always a pleasure.
Oh, it's wonderful.
It's very good to be with you.
Happy World Breastfeeding Week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So before we get into the events that's happening, you're here every year. You're here multiple times a year, it seems.
Yes.
Because there's you've got national and international breastfeeding weeks and observances. But let's talk about it. Again, you've been here years now.
Yes.
Where are we compared to when you first made appearances on the show? It seems to me that people are getting the message.
Yes, they are getting the message, and we need to continue spreading the message and maintaining what we have already done.
Mm-hmm.
we will do our best to continue to share the good news, because remember, like my dear sister over here always says, babies are being born every day. Every day. So, and there's a new mother coming up. So we have to keep doing this, to keep it going and to make it better.
Yeah. Abisa?
Not only that, we have a change of nurses. You have retirement, you have deaths, you had people going out to another profession. So we have to continuously do the education and training so that we have the people to support
Right.
and give the hand to the mothers. And that is very key. And also involving the different entities so that we all come together and have synergy for the, campaign.
So let's get that education out there. Why is it important for breast milk, breastfeeding, as opposed to formula and anything else?
Well, we all should know by now that exclusive breastfeeding means only human milk should be given to human babies for the first 6 months of life, nothing else but human breast milk. And after 6 months, you should start giving complementary foods or food from your pot after that time. And that's the WHO standard, the World Health Organization standard, until up to 3 years now. They keep changing it. They are realizing from studies and research that the more and the longer you feed exclusively, it's healthier for your baby.
3 years.
Up to 3 years, yes. And it can be done. I did it with my last son for sure. Yes.
But they got teeth by then.
And that didn't do anything because we have been breastfeeding them exclusively without giving any bottles. There's nothing about biting your breast is not a problem.
Okay, so let's talk about it. What are the benefits? Why is it so important for the human milk as opposed to formula or cow's milk or something else?
There are so many different benefits. First of all, nutritionally, you have all the requirements the baby needs. And it's so special that in his wisdom, the Creator God presented the breast to produce the milk to suit the baby. So it changes every day, from the colostrum to the stages, the baby's development. So you find that the baby can digest it well. And it's the amount, you don't find fat babies in obesity in breast-fed babies.
Right.
You provide the antibodies the babies need through the mother's milk. And it also, you don't have that many infections. Newborns sometimes have ear infections and all those things. In the first 3 months, you find that they don't have that. And what do? Nationally, we save that health dollar by the babies not being admitted to hospital.
Right.
So even if they have a cold or cough, it's very mild and it runs through the back like this, they say in the Bahamian colloquial. And bonding is so important for the mother. And also the chances of uterine cancer is less for mothers who breastfeed. And the baby is content and the baby is allowed to grow at his own pace. And this is so important. And environmentally, we save our environment with the lack of disposable bottles, teats, and all of that.
Right.
We also, it's a sustainable nutrition. The fact that if you have a hurricane, mother can sit on top of the roof and breastfeed a baby. She doesn't need to look for sterilization bottles and things like that. So
that's right.
We live in an archipelago that is subjected to that kind of disaster. And so we have to empower mothers, enable them that they can do it. And that is what we want to do, strengthen the mothers that what they are doing is the best thing for the baby. And also to get the employers sensitized so that they can be more sensitive to mothers who are breastfeeding and create a space in the workplace where they can either express or store the milk to go home, or give them a break to go for their babies to be breastfed.
All right, I want to come back to that in just a bit. But is formula that bad? What's wrong with formula?
It's not that good either.
Okay, let's
formula
talk about
is
it.
not the best for human babies. Okay, there's a lot of downside when studies have been shown. Now, let me tell you, if you cannot breastfeed. We have people breastfeed at all. Okay? But we feel because we are in the Bahamas, that is the next best option. The next best option is donor milk, actually. But we don't have a milk bank here in the Bahamas, so the next best thing is formula for most mothers. Okay? But it should be donor milk that should be given, meaning human donor milk should be given. But we don't have that here. So the next thing they do is formula. But formula is not the best thing because there's so many downsides to formula. You see, the babies get a lot of colic, the babies get a lot of diarrhea, vomiting, they spitting up a plenteous, they have a lot of issues, they have rashes, they have allergic reactions. I've had instances where mothers come in the clinic and they change the formula about 6 times before they find one that is more compatible for their child. Okay. Some mothers get so fed up, they say, guess what, sister, help me, I need to get my baby back on the breast because this ain't working. I done tried 4 different things and none of them working for my baby. And it was hard, but they got their baby back on the breast. And they said that's been working wonders. Okay? But I'm telling you, formula is not the best for humans. Okay? If you look at the cows and the cats and the dogs, the dogs feed their pups their milk. Okay? The cats feed their cats their milk. But we go to the cow to feed our children. That is not God's standard. That is not God's way. Our milk is specially suited for human consumption. It has the right amount of iron. It has the right amount of vitamin A, E, D, and leukocytes in it with the antibodies to keep you well. Okay? So human milk is best for human babies. And the children are, like Sister Amputam already said, they do not grow obese because of the human milk. The babies are in right proportion. Their body weight and their body weight is an index is in right order. They are not overweight and they're not underweight. They're in the ideal weight range. That's the good thing about exclusive breastfeeding, only giving human milk to the babies.
All right, so I think you answered this question already. Somebody's asking, so what if the mother is on medication or ill and in treatment?
Now,
what should happen?
Let me tell you about the thing about medication. If a mother is breastfeeding, she's supposed to tell the doctor, Doc, I am breastfeeding exclusively. I don't give any formula. The doctor is supposed to adjust the medication, and it has been done. Doc, I'm breastfeeding. Okay, because this is not good for breastfeeding. I will give you this alternative. Okay? Certain hypertensive medicines are good for breastfeeding, and certain ones are not. Okay? So you just have to tell the doctor, Doc, I'm a diabetic or I'm hypertensive. Give me something that is best suited for this. Or even if they're on birth control, okay? And that's controversial too. If they're on birth control, give me something that works for me best while I'm breastfeeding.
Okay. And somebody's asking about the donor milk thing you mentioned. You say we don't do that here, but in other countries, I guess they do.
Yes, they do.
It's very prominent in Brazil, in the States, and in UK, and India. They have started. They have milk kitchen where the people donate their milk and they clean.
They pasteurize.
Okay.
So they can be given to other babies, especially the newborn NICU babies, the small preemies. They need that.
So it'd be tested. And
Yes, they'll be pasteurized.
Laverne?
Sorry, good morning. What to do to be able to set something like that, to set up something like that here? And do you believe that there would be a buy-in, that mothers would actually, mothers who are struggling to breastfeed, who are unable to breastfeed for whatever reason, do you think that there would be enough of a buy-in?
You know, the buy-in is if you can give a cow's milk to a mother, what about a human being? I mean, that's the closest thing to a mother. I mean, if you really think about it seriously, cow is an animal, and we pasteurize the milk and give the baby the milk.
Well, guess what? The buy-in on that is yes, we will buy into it. We are looking at that to get a milk bank. That is something in the near future, but we trying to get these women, more women, to exclusively breastfeed so we could have the need, because remember, the ministry does surveys and research before they spend money, okay? If we have more mothers wanting it, we have it, and we are working towards that. That is something we're going to be doing in the near future, a milk bank, because guess what? We even have mothers who wanted to donate their milk, but I told them, Ma'am, I have nowhere to store it. We don't have a milk bank at this time. And many mothers here in the Bahamas wanted to give me their milk for other babies. And it was awesome, but we have nowhere to test it.
But it's coming.
But it's coming. We have nowhere to test it and to store it for these preemies and babies that need human milk.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's going to be interesting. Okay, let's talk more about the employers. We know that we still have challenges here where people have been telling their mothers to go in the bathroom to
we have recently, in the last 2 years, I remember mothers outside the parliament protesting over whether my baby's food should be processed in the bathroom, and that is people getting. Finding their voices. And that is important because it is through the mothers' agitation and advocacy that the parliament and the people in governance can change policies. And this is so important because this is your baby. And the future health of our babies depend on how well we take this breastfeeding seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are making strides. I don't want to talk too much about it, but we thank God for the tripartite council and some things that are happening in that direction. That's all I will say. You know, I work for government, so I can't talk too much, okay? But some strides are being made. I am admonishing the private sectors and the people who own businesses to encourage your mothers to breastfeed by doing this, by allowing them time to go and breastfeed their children or their child, and also, please, make a designated spot or space, a chair, a table, and a refrigerator for the mother to pump and store her milk while on the job. Because we know if someone is working...
please label it properly.
Yeah, please. Oh, yes. Yeah. And then is supposed to label. No, but that fridge is just for her.
Okay.
It's just for those breastfeeding mothers.
Right.
It's not for the other staff to be going in there to tamper with those items. And you shouldn't be bothering with people things anyway. You didn't put it in there. So why are you going to go drink it? Come on.
Indeed.
All right.
I wanted to challenge Rotarians and Kiwanians to engage the BTVI carpentry shop where they teach them carpentry, if they can build a kiosk for this employing agency, and that will be such a combined engagement of our community as a social responsibility effort, and that would be such a beautiful thing.
That would
and
be.
I would like to challenge them because I find that when you challenge somebody something, they'll show you that they can do it.
Absolutely.
Yes, and that would be good. That chaos you're talking about would be an excellent thing to go in the Marathon Mall or some public place, like maybe an airport. We have those types of chaoses in the U.S. right now, you know?
All right, so we've got a lot of great questions on the text line. People saying, with women's diets, is it really better knowing what so many people are consuming these days? Let's talk about that, the diet and what that does to affect the breast milk.
Okay, now with breastfeeding, if you're going to lactate, you're going to breastfeed, you can eat your food. The only things we encourage you not to do is to overly drink. You know, if you're an alcoholic, we don't want you breastfeeding because you're going to make that child an alcoholic too.
Wow.
Okay? Or the child will be sleeping all the time. All right? Smoking is a no. All right? Now, with food-wise, we just tell women things that irritate the breast milk or the baby's tummy would be cinnamon and cayenne pepper. So if you like a lot of pepper, okay, that will not be good for the breast milk. All right? But otherwise, eating cabbage, tomatoes, all the fruits and vegetables are fine. Okay? Certain people don't eat red meat or whatever, that's fine. If you don't eat certain meats, that's fine. But make sure all your food is properly cooked because we don't want you to get sick if you eat raw stuff and they cause you to get a parasite or get sick with diarrhea and vomiting.
Yeah.
We don't want you sick. But you can eat all the foods that you normally eat once it's properly cooked. I like to tell women to bump up your milk supply. There are certain things that you can use. The pigeon peas we grow in our yard. Okay, pigeon peas. The pigeon peas, water what you cook your pigeon peas in, you could drink that and you could cook them pigeon peas with a little saute, with a little salt and garlic seasoning, and you could eat that by itself. It's a natural galactagogue. It makes the milk spring, okay? Fever grass tea, drink plenty of that. That will help your milk supply bump right up. Plenty water, okay? And coconut water. Excellent. And I would prefer you drink the coconut water right off our coconut trees, not the ones in the can from the shop. But if you don't have the coconut tree coconut water, drink the one in the can.
Okay.
One other thing I want to say, but the most important thing to bump up milk supply is the more you breastfeed, the more milk you will make. The more you breastfeed, the more the milk will come in. Less breastfeeding, less milk. Just remember that. Okay?
Wow. So this person says here, well, I did formula and my baby was perfect. Perfect weight, slept the right 12 hours a night for 3 whole months, perfect temperament, everything. So they're like, why are you downing formula?
I'm not downing formula, but it's okay. For me, from WHO standpoint and research, breast is the best. You took the second option, okay? I don't have a problem with that. You are a good mother, even in spite of you not breastfeeding. I have no question about that. But I'm sure if I check your records medically, your child has had some issues. Maybe the child had some gastroenteritis issues. Maybe the child had some vomiting issues. Maybe the child had some rash issues. Maybe the child had some otitis media or air infections. Maybe the child has a lot of tonsillitis. I don't know your medical history with your child. And then I always tell people, God is still good. Sometimes when we only know a certain thing, okay, God works with us and he winks, okay? But now you know that breast is best. So if you have any other children, exclusively breastfeed them. You will even have a better response. You will say, wow, my child is even healthier than before.
Okay. Let's see if we can take this. Let's take this call. We got a couple more. We'll talk about the events for World Breastfeeding Week. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Strachan.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with the lady. You know, the thing is, as a man, you know, I've had a lot of arguments with you know, the bearers of my children. And so one of the things that I didn't want them to escape was that I would tell them to buy the breast pump because she's saying about the breastfeeding. So they would use this as an excuse to avoid the breastfeeding. And then, like when they go to work or go somewhere. And I don't know if she had mentioned the breast pump, but I was upset that my last son had born with jaundice, and they said that in order to speed up the metabolism to get rid of the bilirubins, it would be best if I give her the cow milk or the formula. So it was Similac, because I had written, when they come up breast milk, I would give them, let's say if they breastfeed them for a year or 6 months or 8 months, then I would start with the plant-based milk. All my other children were fine, but he had problem with this jaundice. And so I just wanted to, what you think about the breast pump and storing it in the fridge, etc., or freezer or whatever, and how long does it last? And also, to the lady who said that she was proud that she used the formula, I can't remember, but I think it's called passive immunity that's given from the mother's milk, right?
Yes.
Where immunity helps the immune system of the newborn.
Yes, sir.
With the mother's milk. So I thought that was something to mention. Also, I was trying to pull up the information, but I know that when you compare breast milk, the chemical constituents or ingredients with breast milk and cow's milk, you will see that mother's milk is superior.
Thank you.
I can't remember, but I think the cow milk might have something more, but for the human, it's really balanced for us. And if you could just go and look at it, you would see the superiority of the human milk versus the cow milk, along with the colostrum. I'll line up and listen. All right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you.
And pumping is fine. Sometimes you find that a mother is at work, she pumps it and then she brings it home and she's still feeding the baby the breast milk. And then father can help feed the baby while she's doing something else. So that way, father is also engaged with this raising up of the baby and you feel good. Like I always tell the husbands or the fathers, let the baby lie on your side of the bed, the cot. Clean the baby when he wakes up and pass it to mommy. So you're partnering in this breastfeeding because it's such a wonderful investment. All of my grandchildren are breastfed, and their relationship with their mother is so beautiful. And unfortunately, my first one was, but the others weren't. And I think I shortchanged them. But now that I'm an older grandmother, I would love all the mothers to really take that seriously. Even though there are challenges initially, but you have to try and help them, help them be strong to be sure of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now one thing the caller just said I want to reiterate or let him know about, the issue with the jaundice. If they were breastfeeding exclusively, they would have not really had that problem with the jaundice, most likely. Because remember, the baby is a newborn. They just came into the world. Their liver is immature. It's not functioning at its optimum level yet. So what happens is, because as the baby feeds, and they're giving the formula, it's not getting out of the gut or the stomach on the body fast enough, and it's accumulating. The liver's job is to detoxify the body and to get rid of waste. And because they were giving all of that formula, what has happened is bilirubin built up in the baby's bloodstream and caused the skin and the eyes to look yellowish. So that's why we tell mothers who are child had jaundice, we tell them breastfeed the baby. That breastfeeding helps push the bilirubin out of the bloodstream and out of the body, and the baby will poop regularly. If you ever notice babies who just born, their stool or their poop looks a yellowy color, that's that bilirubin getting out of the system. Okay, so if she had breastfed exclusively, that most likely that bilirubin problem or that jaundice problem would not have happened. Okay, so when you have this next child, please tell them, let me go find one breastfeeding consultant or someone to assist you with breastfeeding, and you will get the help.
The other thing is, if you want water, what do? We turn on the tap. The baby has to go on the breast so you can suckle and create the vacuum so more supply can be produced. There are two hormones that are very important, the prolactin, which is in the anterior pituitary gland, and the oxytocin at the posterior pituitary gland. Prolactin says, hey, produce the milk in the alveoli, just behind the areola, which is the dark part of the breast. And these things, if not, there is no milk forming. That's why the baby sucking, emptying the breast, creates a vacuum for the mother to get more milk.
Wow. All right, we're talking with Nurse Trinika McCarty and Nurse Sam Simonet. Let's get to the events. We only have a couple minutes left.
Yes.
There's a whole lot of events to celebrate World Breastfeeding Week, which begins today. Tell us about it.
Yes, first of all, we're here. We're here with our wonderful Mr. Strachan on the show this morning to jumpstart World Breastfeeding Week. That's why we're here with him. Tomorrow we will be at the Ministry of Health. Come on down, pregnant women and mothers with babies who are breastfeeding. Please come on down to the Ministry of Health. At the Ministry of Health, be there before 10 o'clock. We will be putting the babies to the breast for 2 minutes, and after that we will be giving out some wonderful prizes. We have breast pumps, have diapers, wipes, we have other things, and we have some light refreshments for you. So come on down and support us.
The big latch on.
Yeah, the big latch on tomorrow at 10 o'clock right in the courtyard. Okay. That's where we will be. Okay? And on Saturday, we will be worshiping at Centerville Seventh-day Adventist Church at 11 o'clock. On Sunday, we will be worshiping at St. Agnes Anglican Church at 10:30 a.m. in the morning. And on Monday, the holiday, we will be having the Umbrella-thon. The Umbrella-thon, where you dress up your umbrellas with breastfeeding theme. Our theme this year is Closing the Gap. Breastfeeding support for all.
Why umbrellas?
Umbrellas. Have you ever looked at an umbrella? Open it up. What does that look like? It looks like a breast. Yes,
okay.
But and also you get the shade from the heat of the. Okay. So it was just it was just awesome how that came about by Mrs. Carlotta Class. Also, there are prizes. We have cash prizes, a floating trophy, and individual trophies for first, second, and third place. All right, and of course,
and not X-rated stuff.
No. Everyone does it well.
Right. Yes.
From the past, we have had excellent, and it will be judged. We have 3 judges. They ready.
Okay.
Come on down and be a part at the Marathon Mall by Kelly's. We will be by the back entrance of Kelly's, and we're gonna walk from on that road right there onto Claridge, onto Wolf Road, back to Marathon, back to the mall. Then we will have refreshments for you, and we will announce the winners, and that's how that will go. On Monday and on Tuesday and Wednesday, we will have a Zoom seminar on breastfeeding. So all you pregnant women, all you women who need and Grammys and people who need information, even fathers, about breastfeeding, that's the time to be tuned in. On Zoom link from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., you can get a ton of knowledge for free. Okay, it's going to be innovative. It's going to be exciting. You can ask your questions. It's going to be awesome.
Okay.
We are going to have an awesome time for this week, for World Breastfeeding Week.
Wow, I really appreciate the passion. You all always giving great information. Trinika McCarty, the president, and Ampy Sam Simonet, the vice president of the Bahamas National Breastfeeding Association. And again, World Breastfeeding Week kicking off today. Happy World Breastfeeding Week again to you ladies.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break for news and be back with Morning Blend Business in just a bit. Stay tuned here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I think it's time.
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
RBC. RBC will find the right loan for all of you with competitive rates and extended terms to suit you, whether it's for debt consolidation, your next vehicle, or home purchase. Sometimes we all need a little more. No matter the reason for the loan, we're here to help you find the solution. RBC. RBC has all the loans for all of you. Let's start with a conversation today.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Attention, all fall 2024 applicants to University of the Bahamas. The new academic year is fast approaching and we're thrilled to welcome you to UB. But first, we need your help. If you've started your online application, now is the time to submit all outstanding supporting documents. Send in your transcripts and copies of relevant passport pages urgently. To secure your acceptance to UB, your application must be fully processed. And remember to keep checking your emails for important updates and reminders. Orientation and advisement for new students kicks off on Wednesday, August 7th, and classes begin Monday, August 19th. This message is brought to you by the Office of Recruitment and Admissions at University of the Bahamas.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, August 1st, 2024. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And this morning we're talking about the second annual All Things Bahamian Living History Festival, which is coming to Clifton Heritage National Park just in time for Emancipation Day. Here to guide us through it all, we're very pleased to welcome back Christopher Davis. Yes. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Morning, Dwight. Always a pleasure to be here. Good morning to, of course, Laverne, too, and good morning to the Bahamas. Happy to be here.
Good morning.
All right, yes. So you're following a very interesting discussion. They were talking about this off here. We got a history of breastfeeding, but in this country, going back to slavery and the plantations.
Oh, yeah, certainly. It was... the proverbial, where enslaved women everywhere, and of course in the Bahamas as well, they breastfed the children of their enslavers, they breastfed all of that. They pretty much raised them, right? And you see that in many cases, even where it was almost like, and then as the child became older, there was like this pet kind of influence there. But yeah, breastfeeding, particularly from the African perspective, from our perspective, I should say, is something with a quite sinister history here in the Bahamas. But again, though, all the points that the ladies are making were quite valid, and some of them were quite obvious. There is a big question, and you have many of the health gurus of the Bahamas, particularly the Afrocentric ones, talk about how dairy products and milk may not be good for us at all, and the fact, of course, that we're the only animals. Besides cats do it, but that drink the animals.
Well, we make them do it,
I guess.
Right,
yeah, exactly,
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I thought it was quite enlightening. And of course, knowing that this breastfeeding thing was something that was, of course, used to oppress us during the days of slavery. And then, of course, imagine, of course, it was horrible for the woman, but even their significant others, their own children, would have been deprived of this rich breast milk. And oddly, there were even cases of enslaved women being so attached, so just utterly broken by these families and so attached to them that they would actually start lactating when a new white baby came around, right? And so it's just one of the infinite amount of contributions, if you could call it that, because of course it was done by force, but ways that African labor, African people were exploited and pretty much took care and made the lives of whites, including the Bahamas, so great today. And the remnants of this, of course, with wealth disparity and the way that you look at the difference in community, shines through today, not just in the Bahamas, but globally.
Yeah, that is really interesting. And the couple of text messages we got with disgust with the notion of donor milk and that this could become a thing, knowing how this country and many others have, oh my gosh, how people grew up basically hundreds of years ago.
Right, and it is something that I guess we could call it taboo. Even breastfeeding, when you go to other countries, you see women breastfeeding out in public normally. And you do see it a little in the Bahamas, but you don't see it, So there are certain stigmas, we like to think or pretend that we are so conservative when in actuality we're not. But, we like to portray this very conservative attitude where women are supposed to be completely modest, and somehow the beautiful act of breastfeeding has gotten in that. But, of course, even me myself, I have
conservative in certain things.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Yeah, we lean on that.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to interject, but the thing about donor milk, and Dwight texted in total disgust. Donor milk has been going on from slavery because as slaves, our ancestors sometimes would have to breastfeed the master's wife baby because they believed that it would ruin their breast.
Certainly,
So, this isn't a new phenomenon, and it's just like anything else. Why are you so comfortable? You're more concerned about donor milk, but you're very comfortable giving your child, say, imitation milk or cow's milk.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Certainly.
Got a lot of things we got to address. Hey. All right. So let's talk about this. This is the second annual All Things Bahamian Living History Festival. Let's talk about why this is so important and why Clifton is doing this.
Well, at the Clifton Heritage National Park, we operate under the Clifton Heritage Authority Act. And we function very similar to AMMC and any historical institution in any country, where we educate and safeguard and preserve our historical relics, share the knowledge, educate the public, right? And of course, this is a part of that. So it's the All Things Bahamian event at Clifton Heritage Park this Sunday, August 4th. And of course, this is also the time when we celebrate emancipation. I will be there, of course, Christopher Davis, a.k.a. John Canoe II. And I have various special pieces of information for those that would attend. But it's extremely important to celebrate this. In my opinion, emancipation is even more important than independence. One being that, emancipation represented the end of chattel slavery. And I think that we can all agree that we are no longer chattel slaves, whereas independence represents us becoming independent. And every day, you hear people questioning this notion of us, in fact, being independent. And furthermore, independence is something that's celebrated country by country, and it speaks to your geopolitical loyalty, which at the end of the day is a choice, right? Emancipation speaks to something much deeper, much truer. And in the context of the British Caribbean, it speaks to the greatest victory that we have ever had in the Western Hemisphere, in my opinion. And when you come there, you will learn about differing narratives and new narratives and truer narratives of emancipation, because, of course, emancipation is something where we praise people like William Wilberforce, William Lloyd Garrison's in the Bahamas. And truth is, William Wilberforce was strung out and suffering from opium withdrawals, while one of our very own was going door to door. Yes, one of our very own was going door to door in England, pushing emancipation. And it's not Saint Kate Moss or poor Black Kate. It's another who is one of our very own.
Wow. So would we have to come out there to learn more about who she is, or
no? We just keep listening. Yeah. Man. That's actually. I wanted to do one giveaway today with a free ticket, and that's the question. If someone could tell me who was the woman passed through the Bahamas, formerly enslaved, went to England, and she made a massive. Arguably, if you had to pick one person, I would even say, well, just pick her. If you had to pick one person that swung their sword or their pen in this case, that's a clue. So that's the trivia question that would cause them to be awarded. I hope the producer will be able to get the information.
Let me give you the number to call in right now. If you know the answer, you get tickets to go to the second annual All Things Bahamian Living History Festival. 323-6232. 323-6232. Call that number and you could win. So we'll wait for that. Good luck. All right. So we're going to learn a lot. Take it on Sunday.
Yeah.
What can people expect? What format does this take?
Well, we have in the Living History program, so it's going to be even emancipation. It's going to talk about our African culture. You know, we're going to have the rock oven going, and anyone who takes the heritage tour, they'll be able to interact with the rock oven and even taste some of the dishes that we'll be making out there. Wow. We'll have several vendors, you know, so this is all about supporting your own, supporting Bahamians. Even if you're not Bahamian, come out and just support the local vendors, you know, all sorts of food, man. They have a lady out there, she is infused bush medicine with physical therapy, with massaging. We have all sorts of fusions of different aspects of Afro-Bahamian culture coming in there. So it's just something where, you know, if you really want to support the Bahamas, support Bahamian, you know. And of course, Clifton Heritage Park represents, as I'm sure you remember and reported on it extensively, probably back in the day, when Clifton Heritage Park, there's a very public battle to establish this place, you know, and it's one of the few victories that we actually have as a people, where the people, the politicians, the church, everyone on one accord, you know, and we win that battle. And the result, of course, was Clifton Heritage Park.
You don't even remember what it was going to be, what was proposed. What was it, a big resort or something?
It's going to be another gated, highfalutin, affluent community where probably a bunch of celebrities will live. And then the Bahamian tour will encompass, this is where Oprah lived. This is where Michael Jordan lived. Instead of, you get it, instead of our actual history, heritage, culture, who we actually are as a people.
Mm-hmm. Wow. All right. You got entertainment as well.
Oh, yes. We have entertainment. You know, the regionally famous Synergy Band. You know, I'm very excited for that. I'm a little peeved that I have to work that day because, you know, I'm a big fan of Rake and Scrape / Gumbe music. Mm-hmm. We will also be incorporating Rake and Scrape and Gumbe as a part of the Living History Tour. But of course, Synergy Band will be out there as well. And there are many other aspects to it. I know a lot of people think that Clifton Heritage is really far. Even sometimes I joke, and when people ask me where I work, I say I work between Andros and Nassau, you know. Right. But essentially, though, Miss Jazzy Claire, who is pretty much the spearhead of the event, you know, brilliant lady. And this is the second annual, as we mentioned. She is organized and partnered with C.P. Lewis, and there will actually be 2 pickup spots. So one will be at the Mall of Marathon, and the other one will be at the Super Value Shopping Center, or the Golden Gates Shopping Center, right there on the corner of Blue Hill Road and Carmichael Road, right? Now, the event itself starts at 10. You can go on our website, tourcliftonheritage.com, tourcliftonheritage.com, or you can call us on the number that you see right there on the website, right? Mm-hmm. So essentially, you go there, you can get picked up, or you could drive out there. There are times when the bus will be leaving the mall and leaving the park. So for the early birds, you will get there at about, probably get to the park around 9:30 latest. The bus is supposed to leave around 10. And then there will be 3 departures from the park at 1:30, 6 p.m., and 8 p.m. So we go in until sundown. Okay. Right? And of course, I would even encourage people to drive. You know, it's a holiday weekend. Go on a nice long drive. See parts of the island that you don't usually get to see. Mm-hmm. I like to call it our last slice of paradise out there, even though we right close to Clifton Pier, but it's still amazingly our last slice of paradise. Wow. You know, and so then you could move on your own. Of course, we have beaches out there. It's not just about the heritage. We also focus on our natural history, so you can see lignum vitae and gamalame trees and be able to smell that natural Bahamian fowl and fauna. Wow. Of course, we have, I would say, 2 of the most beautiful beaches on the island of New Providence, which is Flipper Beach. And of course, just be there, be around, and especially for those like myself, because I'm missing Kid Island Regatta. And if you're missing your regatta, you don't get to go to your regatta. We'll have everything out there that you will see at a regatta, minus the boat race. Yeah.
Right. Wow. All right. So, and how much is it to go?
So admission is $5, and this is our favorite word for kids under 15 and under. It's actually going to be free. So that's general admission. And then the tour, the Living History Heritage Tour, is $15 for adults, $10 for kids. And with that, you get some nice little treats and all of these things, and it's going to be quite interactive. I don't want to give too much away on that, but of course, it's going to be about all things Bahamian, so Junkanoo, rake and scrape music or gombe music, our language that we speak, where some of these words that we use today originate from in Africa, the ways that we dance, all of the things, man. And of course, this is a good time for us to share. And I'll even be incorporating little things where we make a little fun, poke a little fun of at ourselves in our culture, because that's always fun as well. I have an uncle who moved to the United States, he's from Kid Island, and they recorded his name as Vendel. That's because in Kid Island,
that's how he said it.
V is W and W is V.
Wow.
So little things like that. It's just going to be an awesome time, a family event, of course, and there will be some adult activities out there as well. We'll have some refreshments for the kids and for the adults out there as well. All Bahamian owned, Bahamian infused, authentically Bahamian. Yeah.
All right, so this is only on the Sunday.
Only on the Sunday, but I would make note that we're open every day.
Okay.
So that's you don't have to just come on Sunday. We open every day, including Sundays, including holidays as well. We'll even be open on the following Monday for anyone that wants to. And on a regular day, of course, you can do the Heritage Tour. And with the Heritage Tour, it gives you an all-access pass as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could literally do the Heritage Tour, and then you could go spend the rest of the day on the beach. You could make it a full day. We, of course, cater to a lot of tourists, but we do have a lot more students coming out, and we have a lot more locals coming out. And we want to encourage more locals and students to come out, because even though most of our guests currently are tourists, this is something that belongs to us. This belongs to all Bahamians, right? And that's why I take so much fulfillment in working at Clifton Heritage Park, because I see it as me, working for the people. Not necessarily for the government, but for the people.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so you can come on Emancipation Day. You can come on the Monday.
Yes, you can come on the Monday as well, but that won't be the day for the big event. Day for the big event. We know that there are a lot of other things happening on Monday. And of course, for those of us who having that regatta nostalgia, missing regatta, it's a great thing to do. Bring the kids out, bring the wife out, couples. It's something for everybody out there, especially on Sunday when we having our All Things Bahamian event.
All right, so somebody's asking, if I want to come on the holiday, what do I have to do and how much is it?
Well, you could just drive out there and walk in. We have our welcome center where you'll be greeted by one of our beautiful cashiers there. And then you have several options. You could go snorkeling. You could just pay for the park entry and go on a nice hike and then spend the day on the beach. The resident and local prices are different. But for the Heritage Tour, for example, it's $16.50 for general park entrance. On a regular day, it's $8.50. But of course, on the Sunday, it'll be a significant discount where entrance for adults will be $5. For kids, it'll be free. Right. You can also visit our website. As a matter of fact, I'll give out a number right here on air. Get to it. The number is 477-0978.
477.
Yeah.
0978.
And what we have a lot of people do, they call in, they tell us what they want. So a lot of summer camps come through, for example. You have a grandparent bringing all their grandkids, and they say, I want them to know I'm there. And they just tell me, I want them to learn about this, this, and this, And oftentimes you have Bahamians coming out there saying, we want to learn about the real history, And typically, 99.9% of the time, Bahamians do leave very inspired, particularly when they discover that possibly they themselves are attached to what is now Clifton Heritage Park. Yeah.
My goodness. All right, so I think, is this an answer? We didn't get a call, but we have a text. I guess we can accept that, but they're saying Smith. Is it?
No.
No. All right.
Right, so again, woman, that's another big clue. Who was the woman? Not poor Black Kate, a.k.a. St. Kate Moss. It was not Moss, who, of course, Dr. Ian Strachan highly popularized in his book, and many others have written about her, right? But this is another woman. I'll give you a massive clue. She is the first Black woman in British history to publish an autobiography. Yeah.
All right. So that's a big clue there.
For a free
323-6232 for your ticket. Call in 323-6232. All right. So tell us some things that we might find surprising to know about Clifton and about emancipation here in the Bahamas.
Oh, yes. Well, there's been a long prevailing myth, right, that slavery was not as difficult in the Bahamas. You will learn about some of those things and be privy to primary sources that, interestingly, the man that established and was the main owner at Clifton, he was the one they typically would put on this pedestal as the so-called benevolent slave master. There's also even a quote. I'm not going to give the name because that's a part of the interest. But they were saying that the guy who was the main slave master at Clifton Heritage Park, that he, at the end of the day, seemed to have been a benevolent master to his slaves. Now, that's one of the biggest oxymorons you could ever hear, right? And of course, this trickles all the way forward to our modern history, right, where people say crazy things. I hear it on the radio all the time of, we would have been better off under the UBP, or we would have been better off under white rule, and all of these crazy things, right? So that's one thing that will be surprising when you find out how people were actually treated there. And would probably be even more surprising and more important, in my opinion, in ways that we resisted and fought against slavery and how that influenced emancipation. So we fought with our will. Kate Moss would be the best example of that. We fought with the pen. The lady who is to answer the trivial question is the best example of that. And of course, we also fought with the sword, and Dick DeVoe right there in Southern Kent Island would probably be the best example of that.
Wow. Okay, we've got some calls coming in. Let's see if folks have the answer to the trivia question. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Strachan. Good
Hi.
morning, Laverne, and good morning, Mr. Davis.
Hi.
Good morning.
Was it Mary Prince Mary?
Yes, it was Mary Prince.
All right.
Mary Prince.
Congratulations. Stay on the phone.
My children.
Yeah. All right. Stay on the phone. We're going to get your name and number, and you can come and collect your ticket. Or you're going to go
Yeah, once we get your name and your number, we'll record it. And once you come, we'll roll out the red carpet for you when you arrive there Sunday.
Thank you.
So stay on the line. Don't go anywhere. All right.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So tell us a little more about her now.
Now, Mary Prince also ties into the point about this myth of slavery being easy in the Bahamas. Like I said, she was the first published British black woman with an autobiography, and on any appreciable level, to be quite honest. She was, to lack of use of a better word, a real gangster, you know. She was born originally in Bermuda, but spent much of her formative years, her childhood and into early adulthood right here in the Bahamas. She also spent time being enslaved, of course, in Bermuda, the Bahamas, Antigua, a tiny bit in Jamaica as well, I believe. And she said that her worst experience was actually working on the salt plantations right here in the Bahamas. Wow. Her experience in the Bahamas and the murders that she committed on these plantations, all of these things, that you would have seen typically unrecorded. You know, of course, you wouldn't see it in the newspaper.
So which islands? In Agua, Long Island?
We're talking about Turks Island, mainly, when it was a part of the Bahamas. But we're also talking about Inagua as well. And remember now, we are very closely linked to these people, where many of the surnames that we know as Bahamian originated in Turks. And then we split in 1848, ironically because of the salt industry. However, as I said earlier, if you had to pick one person who was the all-conquering hero of British emancipation, it would be her. She went door to door and told her story in the most riveting ways. And she was the one that tugged on the heartstrings of the average British citizen. Wow. And crucially at the time, William Wilberforce, he was taking opium for an ailment that he had, and he was suffering from withdrawals from this opium. They claim it was for medicine, but we can leave that one there. But the fact is, this man was not even in good health when the Emancipation Act was passed in 1833. Now, her end seems to have been a very tragic one because she was later sued for libel. And they won the case. So her own former slave master sued her for libel and won the case. And by 1838, ironically, the same year of full emancipation from chattel slavery, she just disappeared and or faded into obscurity, and it's very likely actually that she was probably kidnapped and murdered. The way that she obtained her freedom was quite clever. The British had passed a law saying that no Christian could be enslaved on British soil. And when her master from Antigua, not the Bahamian one, but the Antiguan one, John Wood, took her to England, she snuck out in the middle of the night, got baptized, came back and was like, yeah, you can't enslave me now. And that's how she got free. But she did leave family members behind in Antigua. And her story is a quite powerful one. And she is very much under commemorated on a global level. There's just a small plaque commemorating her in Bermuda, and an even smaller one commemorating her in one of the buildings that she used to work out of, I believe in the Somerset area in England.
And we've not done anything.
Nothing, but something's coming soon in Clifton Heritage Park. I can assure you that.
All right. So she...
I just want to interject right here and say, one, I always love when you come on. I learn so much. Two, because I didn't win the trivia, I just want to say, Dwight, I went ahead and cleared my schedule to fly me in, and we can make this a 3-day event. I am available.
Okay, sounds good.
I just want to put that out.
We'll work that out after the show.
You know, Dwight, you always say that to me, and after the show, I'm never able to reach you.
Oh boy, maybe it's you. Grand Bahama goes. Okay, somebody's asking here. So did she tell her story, or did she actually write it? Was she able to, as an enslaved person? Was she able to
was freed. She was freed, and then when she told the story, that's when she published it. Again, they overplayed the role of British politicians and British abolitionists. From the very beginning, as a matter of fact, these British abolitionists were inspired by the Sons of Africa, a group called the Sons of Africa. This included Olaudah Equiano, who was also linked to the Bahamas, as well as my personal favorite, a man named Odabar Kawango. I call him one of the first Pan-Africanists. Wow. And in the 1700s, he was writing and warning us about not letting Europeans blame Africans for slavery and all of these different things that we accept as historical fact today. Right. But that's for another day. Now, she published her life, and it became like the top-selling book in the British Empire and in all of Europe. And with Strong Black Kate, St. Kate Moss, Poor Black Kate, whatever you want to call it, we need to officially rename this that girl. I think we should name her Saint Kate Moss, because she in fact lost her life in her own personal struggle for freedom, right? However, it shows you though, and this is another aspect, we're talking about her story in the Bahamas. It shows you not just the brutality that enslaved women in the Bahamas would have received and the degradation from having to breastfeed their master's babies, all the way up to, of course, what Kate Moss experienced, where her master was the one that ripped her clothes off. We know exactly what was happening there, right? And then you have Mary Prince, one that started off as something sad, became triumphant, and then of course she disappeared into obscurity. But the most important thing about emancipation and what would be taught at our event, it's not going to be the only thing, but if you take the Heritage Tour, this is what you will be learning in a lot more depth, right? Many aspects of emancipation that we don't know, of course, that our enslavers were in fact compensated, and this is also tied to the ugly and disgusting myth that Queen Victoria had something to do with freeing the quote-unquote freeing the slaves, right? It talks about the widespread and different forms of resistance to slavery in the Bahamas. We're talking about running away. We're talking about arson. We're talking about the murder and attempted murder of our enslavers and full-on slave revolts in San Salvador and Kid Island and Exuma, and all of this added to the global kind of chipping away at the institution of slavery, because all of these different British colonies were in revolt in many spaces, and all of this destabilized slavery. These, in my view, and should be the national view, and the view of any Antiguan, any Bahamian, any Jamaican, is in fact that emancipation came from that. And this goes with the old, the old anecdote that freedom is not given, it's taken, or freedom is not given, it's won, right? And what happens is people like William Wilberforce are overplayed. And this is one of the quintessential examples of us putting that. We have people like Roland Simonet and Stafford Sands as national heroes. And I don't know how you could be a national hero of a country that you didn't want to exist in the first place. to put it simply. Yeah.
We can find Mary Prince's book.
Literally just Google Mary Prince. Her book is called The History of Mary Prince, a West Indian Slave, with different variations. But literally, if you Google Mary Prince PDF, the book is right there. Some of it is attached to other stories of enslaved people. And especially the part when she talks about being enslaved in the Bahamas, raking salt. That is a complete other aspect of history. And being on the salt Salina, she was out there for 16 hours a day, 17 hours a day, 18 hours a day.
They have machines doing that now, right?
They have machines doing these things.
People had to do that back then.
Standing right out there.
Oh my
Imagine
God.
standing in a salt flat without working for 2 hours.
Good Lord.
And now imagine doing it for 16 hours. All of these things, she claimed how people's feet would start to rot and they'd get gangrenous and all of these things from being in these salt, the smell, all of these different horrible things, Yeah.
My goodness gracious. Okay, one more time. Remind folks what's going to be happening on Sunday.
Yeah,
at
so
Clifton Heritage National
of course,
Park.
on Sunday we have the All Things Bahamian event in celebration of us as Bahamians, and of course also in celebration of emancipation. The event starts at 10 and we'll be going until sundown. We would encourage people to make the long journey out to Clifton, but for those who don't want to or can't, we have 2 pickup stations, one at the Mall of Marathon and one at Golden Gates Shopping Center. For more details, you could visit our website, tourcliftonheritage.com. So that's TOURCliftonheritage.com.
Okay.
Right? And of course, you can call the number that you see there on the website too for any more information. And we'll be out there all day. Synergy Band will be playing. We have living history tours for people. Of course, it's $5 for adults for the general admission. So that's just to get in the park and do what you want to do. For general admission, it's $5 for adults. Kids 15 and under are completely free to enter the park. The Living History Heritage Tour is $15 for adults, $10 for kids. We have a dray load of all sorts of very cool and authentically Bahamian vendors out there, different products, different food. I plan on gaining at least 3 pounds that day and probably working it off, doing some tours the following week, right? Drinks, food and drinks for adults and children, I should say, just loads of activities. And it's that good, clean fun. And that you're having fun will, of course, go towards not just supporting Bahamians, but supporting one of the only official national heritage parks in the English-speaking Caribbean, being Clifton Heritage Park, something that belongs to us. Come out and have fun and come out and learn. And even if you're not into the heritage thing, you could still come out, dance to some Synergy Band, have a few drinks, support some Bahamian products, go for a swim on the beach. We have the underwater statues out there, take pictures, do whatever you want, especially for those of us like me who are missing regatta, right?
Yeah. Excellent. This is going to be a great time. Christopher Davis, John Canoe II, thank you so much for being here this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and then be back to wrap it up. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
We go everywhere. Shop early at Janae's Chesapeake Road annual back-to-school sale going on now. Get up to 20% off on all school items in stock. Yes, all school items in stock. Shirts, jumpers, skirts, boys' long and short pants, school neckties, PE shorts, in a variety of colors and school monograms. Shop early and don't miss out at Janae's Uniform Center Chesapeake Road's annual back-to-school sale going on now. Remember, we go everywhere. Beat the rush and save, save, save at Janae's annual sale now.
In 2023, over 9 million visitors came to the Bahamas. This year, we plan on shattering that record. That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Paradise is not only found in Nassau, but throughout our 16-island destination.
No matter who you are or what you do, we all have a part to play in our tourism industry.
This is our country.
These are our islands.
This is our home.
That's why tourism is everyone's business.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
It's a Scotia Plan Loan Summer. With Scotiabank, you can chase your summer vacation, swing into your home renovation, and slide on back to school with ease. Apply for your Scotia Plan loan and benefit from competitive rates, flexible loan terms, and no payments for up to 2 months. Tick off your to-do list this summer and apply for a Scotia Plan loan today.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
It's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. BPL, Bahamas Power and Light, is not on track to live up to the government's promised target to the international community of 30% renewable penetration by 2030, with the power utilities staff contending in an IRCA report that 30% target was more political rather than being based on technical planning through the power company or even a consideration of the land available for utility-scale solar installations. In the IRCA report outlining the audit of the performance and organizational maturity of BPL, the reasoning for BPL staff is based on the fact that the Electricity Act requires BPL to support the government's national energy policy, which includes promoting the development and use of renewable generation resources and technology. It says that BPL would need an estimated 230 megawatts of solar capacity to meet the renewable energy target. Currently, BPL only has the Ragged Island solar plant, which is 400, which constitutes less than 1% of total generation. More on that in today's Guardian Business section. AML Foods Limited reopened at Solomon's Old Trail space as part of a $22 million investment in an upgraded location for its two iconic brands, Solomon's and Cost-Right, with the Providence in the pipeline for the company. AML CEO and President Gavin Watchorn saying that the company's expansion plans are in an effort to move its revenues from where they currently stand at about $200 million to $300 million by 2030. He said of the remodeled and now reopened Solomon's location that everything is new there with a new roof, new floor, and all equipment being new, and that solar panels are on the roof. Next door is the Cost-Right. He said it's a big strategic long-term future of the two legacy brands. And he promised the people of Marathon a great shopping experience, and that the other locations will soon get to experience it as well. More on that in today's Guardian Business section as well. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Wednesday, your market movers, APD Limited moving 445 shares, closing at 44.64 unchanged. Bahamas First Holdings Limited moving 7,500, up 10 cents to 210. Bahamas Property Fund moving 2,000, up 25 cents to 925. Commonwealth Bank moving 15,000, closing at $5.08 unchanged. Galena Holdings moving 2,250, closing at 11.20 unchanged. Consolidated Water up 11 cents, closing at $5.81. And Emera Incorporated up 6 cents, closing at $8.85. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,926.26, up 0.79. That's your Market Watch, and that is your Morning Business Report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And Laverne, as we go, we've got a thunderstorm warning in effect until about 11 o'clock. The thunderstorm warning in effect for Inagua, Mayaguana, Long Key, and the Turks and Caicos Islands. A severe weather watch in effect for Crooked Island and Acklands. And again, that's going to be in effect until 11 o'clock this morning. So keep that in mind. Again, we're keeping a watch on that tropical wave, which is expected to move into southeast Bahamas today and expected to bring quite a bit of rain for the islands over the next few days, unfortunately, into the holiday weekend. But Laverne, hope you enjoy your holiday. Again, we'll talk about
Won't I be
whether.
enjoying it with you?
Yeah, it's quite possible.
Will I be enjoying it with
I'll give you a
at
call. I'll give you a call today. We'll
You
talk.
know what,
We'll,
Dwight? Okay.
Yeah. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Everybody have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and binders, magazines, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small.